to honor, and this we count as day, to hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty Nigeria may be blessed.
Please. Online participants, I want to believe you also stood up for that. So thank you very much, everyone. I want to recognize the presence of the representative of the Honorable Minister of Youth Development. Along, please, that's why I have my laptop in front of me. Do well to send a message and we'll make sure you're carried along, because this forum appreciates diversity of thought and everybody needs to be carried along. Of course, you can see the SDGs everywhere and we intend to leave no one behind in this forum today. So what we have here, we have the open. But first, as the host and organizer of today's event, I would want to quickly give a brief welcome address to say thank you for joining us today. So once again, good morning, distinguished participants, colleagues and friends, both here in person and joining us online. It's a tremendous honor to welcome each of you to today's Youth Migration Forum, tagged Paving the Way, Enhancing Youth Participation in Migration Governance for Sustainable Development in Nigeria. This forum marks yet another milestone in our journey at Migration Women's with May Global Empowerment Initiative. As we continue to drive impactful initiatives that champion the voices of Nigerian youth in migration governance and beyond, we are deeply grateful for your presence and beyond. We are deeply grateful for your presence, support, and belief in this mission. Migration is a complex and powerful force that affects millions, and its impact is especially significant for our youth. Here in Nigeria, where young people are the backbone of our nation, we believe it is essential for them to actively shape migration policies, and for that we sincerely thank you. At Migration Moments with May, we are committed to much more than enhancing youth participation in migration governance. Our areas of focus are wide-ranging, from economic empowerment and policy advocacy to skills development and capacity building. Vision that Nigerian youth can and should play a lead role in determining our migration landscape, confronting challenges and seizing the many opportunities migration brings. Today's forum is a testament to that vision. We are thrilled to welcome experts, advocates, and young change makers to discuss the causes of youth migration, examine the hurdles our young people face, and explore ways to unlock the potential migration holds for through open dialogue, shared insights, and a collaborative spirit. We aim to create actionable strategies that reflect the aspirations and needs of Nigerian youths. We promise not to keep you here for so long, and I will keep to my word actually, as we respect your time and commitment, especially on a Saturday, a day many reserve to rest from the week's activities. Our goal is to make this a focused, engaging, and impactful session that allows us all to live with renewed energy and ideas for positive change. To everyone present and to everyone joining us online, I encourage you to engage fully, share openly, and connect with one another. This forum is more than just a gathering. It's a platform for empowerment, learning, and partnership. I hope that each of you leave here today with renewed purpose, fresh insight, and a network of allies, especially committed to change. Thank you for your time, your ideas, and your commitment to Nigeria's future, our future. Welcome once again, and thank you. So sitting right beside me is the SA on Youth to the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. I'm sure she has one or two to tell us. Over to you, Ma.
Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen in the room and online participants. So on behalf of the Office of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, it is a pleasure, to give you this goodwill message at the inaugural Youth Migration Forum. And I must commend the convener, Ms. Mary, for this event. I think it's a timely initiative in bringing us together to discuss this pressing issue. So Nigerians youths, who represent 60% of our population, are at the forefront of migration trends. Currently, approximately 74% of young Nigerians cite economic opportunities as their primary motivation for migrating. This is a stark reflection of the economic challenges that they face. This trend, often described as a Japa syndrome, highlights the urgent need to review our migration evolving, characterized by significant rural to urban movement and increasing aspirations for international relocation. While traditional destinations like Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom remain prominent, there has been a noticeable shift towards non-traditional destinations, including Germany, Northern Cyprus, and some of the European countries. Economic hardship, conflict, and climate change are critical drivers of migration for Nigerians youth, making the issue one of national importance. In response to these challenges, the Nigerian government has implemented policies like the National Youth Policy, aimed at enhancing youth development across various sectors, and the Youth Employment Action Plan, which focuses on creating economic opportunities for our youth. Additionally, the National Policy on the Health and Development of Adolescents seeks to support young Nigerians by addressing factors that drive migration, thereby enhancing youth welfare. These frameworks represent our commitment to tackling the root causes of migration by fostering an environment where young Nigerians can thrive at home. Migration governance in Nigeria is about creating a framework where migration contributes positively to national development while safeguarding the rights and safety of migrants. This includes establishing legal migration pathways, enhancing border management, and offering robust support against the danger with irregular migration. The risk posed by unsafe migration routes, including human trafficking, exploitation, loss of life, highlights the necessity of promoting safe legal migration options. The 10th House of Representatives has placed youth empowerment as a central pillar within its legislative agenda. This commitment is reflected in our efforts to address the root causes of irregular migration by promoting job creation, skill development, and entrepreneurship. Our goal is to provide viable local opportunities that reduce the allure of dangerous migration paths. For those who choose to migrate, we are committed to preventing exposure to deplorable conditions. Economic migration is not altogether negative. However, it must be approached with adequate preparation. To make this effort successfully done and to make it successful, we must amplify the voices of young people in migration governance. Our youth are not only directly impacted by migration policies, but are also invaluable contributors to sustainable solutions. As we gather here together, I encourage every participant to engage actively, share experiences, and propose strategies that will guide our not necessity. Being present in spaces like this, where you can network, learn, participate in critical discussions, ensures that your voices are heard and considered in shaping policies. Together, we can pave the way for safer migration, effective governance, and a Nigeria where our youth can thrive, both locally and abroad. Thank you. I wish you a fruitful dialogue, and we look forward to the reports from this dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think for me, the dialogue has started already because we got key points from her message, and she has said that she looks forward to the report of this meeting, and I think that's actually a step in the right direction. So as much as possible, we have been given this platform to enhance our visibility in the migration governance space. So I think we have to make good use of this opportunity. Before we declare this event officially opened by the minister, I think it's right we also hear a goodwill message, just a brief welcome or goodwill message from the DG, Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization, Chief Obinna Waka.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to also welcome you to this great event, Migration Moment with May Global Empowerment Initiative, especially on this 2024 edition. But before I proceed, let me, supposed to be the paper, is it? Not the paper yet. Okay, all right, okay. We've heard a lot from the representative of the deputy speaker, and just like the convener said, Mr. Satome, that we are going through a crucial moment. I believe that irregular migration has become a very big challenge to us, especially the young people in this great country. And I want to assure you that this is a project that has been conceived by an ideology that is based on eradicating illegal migration and also foster solutions to whereby young people can contribute their own quota to national development. As we are going to the dialogue, I want to also implore every one of us to be more of engaging. Let us also be proactive and provide solutions to anything that is going to help the young people of this great country. We are here to dialogue. It's not for us to shy away from what has been affecting young people. So say it as you feel it. Don't hide anything. So thank you very much.
So he said, say it as you feel it. I hope you don't say it in a way that we'll have to off the mic. All right, thank you. So we have to now give the mic to the representative of the Ministry of Youth. So you give us a welcome address and officially declare this event open. Thank you.
Well, to the convener, Migration Moment with me, Miss Mary, to our youth, online and physically present, to the SA, to the speaker, and my brother Chief Obinna Waka, and to all distinguished personalities here. It's necessary I establish this protocol. Yes, then, and to our beloved president, our FCT minister, then our own comrade, the Honorable Minister for Youth Development. He's a comrade, he's an engineer. I emphasize the word comrade because he's a young person. He's a very young person and he understands, he wears our shoes. Yes, then, Mr. Engineer Ayodele Olawande, so the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Youth Development, Mr. Olubumi Olusonya, to the Director of Education and Youth Development, where the migration desk is, Mr. Kabiru Mohammed. I want to welcome everybody to this great occasion. I must commend the convener. This program is significant because when we talk about youth, we're talking about the energy of our society, the legacy of our society. Without them, people that are strong and are willing to take, take options, negative or positive, to achieve their desires. So anything that concerns national development, youth development, Ministry of Youth is committed to it. And that's why we're here today. We're giving you the full support. We are praying that at the end of today, we'll all take something home. At the same time, we'll deposit something to enhance national development. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you for having me too.
Thank you very much, representative of the Honorable Minister. Okay, I think he has one more statement.
Yeah, sorry, please. On behalf of the minister, I don't have that capacity to declare this open, but on behalf of the minister, I officially declare this open, this program open. Thank you.
Because if you did not declare it open, everybody just pack your bags, please. Let's go home already. We'll not go home. All right. So, very quickly we'll move to setting the stage. An organization has invited you here. Let's just hear who we are and what we've been doing since we started in 2020, even though we became fully operational in 2024. Media, please, setting the stage. Thank you very much. So we know that we are here today for the Youth Migration Forum. I think the first of its kind in Nigeria also. So that's actually a good thing for Migration Movement to make Global Empowerment Initiative. So this is a brief about us. We were established in 2020, and when I say we were established, the dream was born in 2020. I think it was born in my office space. I was talking with my friend, and she was like, Mary, you know this thing so well. Why not talk to people about it online? I was like, are you sure I can do this? She said, yes, you can do it. So Winifred, if you are watching, thank you very much, because that discussion we had that day at Area 1, Vichy Close, has grown into something really beautiful. So now we're established in 2020, and we got registered with CAC this year as an NGO. Then we're established for the purpose of creating awareness on migration issues through social media platforms, because we were on YouTube in 2020 and TikTok and some other places. So, but don't worry, don't go back to those old videos because they're embarrassing, trust me. So that's how we started, through social media platforms. And we're also established for the purpose of enhancing safe, orderly, and regular migration. All of the opening remarks we got from the representatives of the various MDAs here, we got to hear that it's necessary for us to migrate regularly, regular pathways of migration. So that was like a recurring phrase. So we're also established for that purpose of enhancing safe, orderly, and regular migration. We're also established for the purpose of enhancing youth participation in migration governance. And this particular event is a testament to this particular objective of the organization. We are also established for the purpose of empowering vulnerable youth migrants, including IDPs. What have we done so far? Of course, we are still a baby organization, we're growing, and like we said, we started on social media. So these are just few DMs we have received. We have counseled a lot of Nigerian youth online, especially those that had need to travel, or they want to travel, or they are not sure about the future. So we have had even returned migrants to contact us, and we give them advice too. So these are some of the DMs that we've received. For instance, the first one up there, somebody was stuck in Libya and she needed help. So we're able to refer her to the returnees migration network here in Nigeria, and I think they were able to offer help also. So we were able to advise somebody who needed to leave Nigeria immediately after secondary school, and he was not sure of where he was going to or why he was going there. So we've offered advice to so many Nigerian youth via TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So what have we done so far? So sometime in September 2024, we assisted an IDP, a youth 29-year-old entrepreneur. She was forcibly displaced from her community in Northeast Nigeria. We helped her restart her business and gave her hope again for the future. She's one of the IDP camps here in Abuja. So in September 2024, we assisted her and encouraged her and gave her hope to continue living. Also, what have we done? Last year, from September 2023 to October 2024, Migration Movement started an initiative to train Nigerian youths, those interested in engaging in migration governance. So we have a mentorship program that ran from 2023 to October 2024. And I'm also glad to announce that one of the mentees that graduated from this year is also here present with us in this hall. Hi, Winifred, say. So yeah, she's a beneficiary of this Migration Movement mentorship program. Now, what have we done so far? This is ongoing, the Youth Migration Forum, the first of its kind in Nigeria, and we hope to continue. The road ahead for Migration Movements with May. So we intend to start the cohort 2 for the Migration Movement with a free mentorship program for youths. The last time it was open to only youths between the ages of 18 and 35, but we got so many, of course, everybody wants to benefit from it. We got so many backlash, I would say, and everybody wants to. So I think we're increasing the age to maybe 40. So between the ages of 18 and 40, we're opening the session immediately after this event. Sometime next week, the call for participation will be out. Then we're also going to continue engaging with youths for enhanced engagement in migration governance discourse. We'll also continue our activities online to promote safe, orderly, and regular migration. And the online focus is key because we know how much youth are engaged online these days. We're always on our phones, and this is where those who do not want the good of youth also go there to pass the wrong information. So we tend to also promote the positive narrative of migration and why we need to migrate orderly. And we'll also continue with many other youth engagements to promote migration governance in Nigeria. Thank you very much. So DG, you were eager to give us your paper the other time, so it's your turn to give us this paper. Are you ready for us, sir? Thank you very much.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. Please, representative of the Honorable Minister of Youth Development, welcome you once again. From your opening remark, I can understand that you are very much conversant with the ministry. And I want to say congratulations to the Honorable Minister for his elevation. Quite commending, very, very deserving. He's my very good friend. Yeah, you're welcome. My fellow guests, I want to also welcome you all. I've welcomed the representative of the Deputy Speaker, who is also like a leader and a mentor to us. I remember when he was vying for this position, we played a very critical role. Maybe you can just check CYMS/Benjamin Carlo. You will see what we did for him. So we are glad he's also doing well. He has passed the Southeast Development Bill and also Peace Initiative in the Southeast. So quite commendable. So let me not take much of our time because we have a paper before us. And I would like to emphasize more on that. I've been given a topic to present which is the role of youth in national development. So I don't know if the media can. Okay, all right. So first and foremost, my name is Chief Obinawaka, and I work with the Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization, CYMS. CYMS is an evaluation, monitoring, and mobilization body that focuses on promotion of policies, program, and activities of the federal government. We are duly engaged under the Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, the SGF. Apart from the mandate that I mentioned before, our other activities include promotion of good governance, facilitation of empowerment for young people, ensuring peaceful coexistence among Nigerians. So, the topic says the role of youth in national development. Now let's ask ourselves a question: who are the youth? The term youth generally refers to individuals transitioning from adolescence into adulthood, typically between the ages of 15 and 30. This demographic is often seen as a source of potential innovation, and societal change, representing a significant force in shaping our future. Most of people have been shaping futures of nations and other countries in the world. They are mostly young people. They are mostly the youths. And if you look at the definition that is given here, it is a definition. Why, according to United Nations, these are people between the ages of 15 and 24 as endorsed by the United General Assembly in 1981 in preparation for the International Youth Year in 1985. So this definition is being given and according to the age brackets here in 1981 when they were preparing for the 1985 International Youth Day. But other member states of International United Nations have their own different definition of youth. You can't compare what is happening here in Nigeria, Africa, to what is happening in the UK and other European countries in terms of development, youth engagement, how they carry their young people along. So our own definition here is quite different. We are all here as young people, as youths, and I can assure you that some of us here are more than 35, maybe including the representative of a Minister of Youth. So, understanding the concept of youth. Youth is a critical developmental phase characterized by physical, emotional, and psychological growth. It is a period where individuals seek identity, pursue education, engage in social and community activities, and develop values and beliefs that will guide their future. This transitional stage plays a fundamental role in shaping not only the individuals themselves, but also the society they belong. Whatever we do as young people, it is not just contributing to our own personal life and growth, it's also affecting both negatively and positively to the society or to the family that we belong to. So that age is a force on itself. So many things goes with that age. So what is national development? I'm trying to marry the topic so that we can understand what we are talking about very well. National development refers to the comprehensive process through which a country enhances the well-being of its citizens across various sectors, including economic growth, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and social welfare. We can't talk about national development without emphasizing on these areas that I just mentioned, because national development is very, very holistic. You can't take away healthcare, you can't take away well-being, welfare, infrastructure away from it. So if all these things are not well properly managed, included, and well promoted, we can't talk about national development. And it also aims to improve the overall quality of life, create opportunities, and ensure sustainable for future generation. Any nation there is not opportunity, the nation cannot be talking about being part of national development. Then let us not go down to the role of youth in national development. Youth have crucial parts to play in national development across several key areas. One, innovation and creativity. The energy of fresh perspective that youth bring can drive innovation and technology, business, social projects. The ability to think outside the box leads to a new solution for pressing societal issue. This innovation and creativity talking about is I can look at AI. All this innovation, they are not being produced by people who are above 50, 60, or 70. They are young people, and the people that also operate it are they are also young people. If you go to the history of our LCD or VCD that we used to use before at 90s, early 20s, those VCDs and LCDs, they are produced by secondary school leavers in China, in Hong Kong, and all those Asian countries. So they are not produced by elderly people. They use those things as practical. So after a production, they will now send it to other countries that are not much innovation. So young people have this innovation and creativity mindset. And with that, you can see those countries have also done what? They have also developed more innovation. Two, advocacy and activism. Young people often spearhead social movements, advocating for human rights, environmental protection, and social justice. They challenge existing norms and demand progressive changes in policies and practices. Yes, the role of youth in nation building or national building can never be overemphasized because of what we have been doing. We can all, if we look back a few months ago, there was protest, hunger protest. Some years ago, there was also NSAS protest. And the people that champion this protest, they are young people. And there's no way that one or two solutions were not proffered and government did not also attend to the needs of young people, attend to the reasons why they were on street protesting. In fact, the last hunger protest gave birth to what we now have a mandate secretary of youth development in FCT, which is like a commissioner of youth. It has never happened before in the history of Federal Capital Territory. But what led to that is what the hunger protest that took place a few months ago. What about the NSAS? We can all recall that the NSAS protest also came up with solutions that is helping young people because the leaders also engaged with some head of all those protesters and they were able to attend to the needs of Nigerians, review of some policies and all those things. So the third one is political participation and governance. Youth involvement in politics allows them to influence policy decision, push for reforms, and contribute to democratic governance. Their active participation ensures that governance reflect to the needs and aspiration of future generation. We can also attest that during the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, young people were agitating for political participation in the governance, which gave birth to the signing into law of Young Tool Not to Run Bill. And that bill gave access, gave empowerment to a lot of young people that have the desires to champion political image in their nations. Before it has become an age barrier. If you're not up to 40, you cannot contest for president. If you're not up to 30, you cannot contest for governor and all those things. So with that bill, it was able to what address those barriers. And how did we get to that stage? It's as a result of what this political participation and governance interest that we're talking about. And if young people will also be given more opportunity to participate in governance, we are going to have transformation in our leadership. We are going to have more innovation in our leadership. We are going to have good governance and all those things. In fact, it was also one of the reasons why we have today the approval or the signing to law, or let's say, of the local government financial autonomy, because of all this agitation of young people to be participating in the governance. For education and skills development, by pursuing education and acquiring vocational skills, the youth contribute to the development of skilled workforce. Their capacity to adapt and innovate is essential for meeting the challenges of an ever-changing job marketing. Skills development and all this. During the COVID-19 era, we shone the usage of our normal traditional general meeting, gathering and all those things. It was the young people that innovated those idea of online meetings and all those things. And since that day, every leader, every head of agencies and co, they have also cultivated this habit of having young people who are tech inclined to also be part of their team because of this innovation of online meetings, innovations, and all those things. So the involvement of young people has really made it possible for us to contribute to the national development. So these are some of the roles that young people can get themselves involved in national development. Then how youth can contribute again to national development. We have voluntary and community services. Yes, these are one of the critical avenues whereby young people can contribute to the nation building. Like some of us now, we live in one community or the other. If I may ask, what are you doing in your community to enhance the well-being of your community, of the areas where you live? What has been your services to the nation? What are you doing to contribute in your own local level, not even your family? Family is personal. We are not talking about nation building. Some of us, the environment where we live, we don't even know what is going on in that environment. That's why today, when robbers attack an individual, nobody comes out to do what? To come down to their rescue, because you are not known. If you leave your house in the morning, you come back at night to your bed, you're only walking, you don't know what is going on. So voluntary services and community development involvement is very key. That's why we applaud today the National Youth Service Corps. Many of us who have engaged, who have gone through that process, we've also utilized that medium to cultivate the habit of voluntary and community development service. Like where I served in Imo, Imo town in Obi local government, there was nothing like lights, there was nothing like power supply. In fact, the house that I stayed was a hut. In fact, they were the first set of coppers to serve in that community. But because of the spirit of community services and others, I told my fellow coppers that please let us serve in this community so that it will motivate other coppers. And today, the community now, they now have light. They have many coppers now that are also serving there. But when I was serving, my SC, Nuhu here, was my student. He was in SS1 or SS2. Yeah, then that was in 2011, 2012. But today now, he's now my SC. We are now working together. So imagine if I had not volunteered to serve in that community, will I meet with him? Will he be working with me today? So voluntary service is very, very, very key. And it's one of the critical venues that young people can participate to contribute to national development. Entrepreneurship. Many young people are driven to start their own businesses, creating jobs, fostering economic growth, and addressing gaps in the market. Yes, entrepreneurship is very, very important because all of us cannot be socially empowered, politically empowered. That entrepreneurship is like the economic aspect of what young people they need. And this is a very critical sector. So we can also recall that we have so many young people who are entrepreneurs that are doing excellently well in their areas of expertise, in their areas of field, and they are making the country proud. So it's another great avenue whereby young people can also contribute to national development. Education and research. Through academic pursuits and involvement in research, youth can make valuable contribution to scientific, technologically, and cultural advancement. Imagine if I'm not educated, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to contribute in that community. If I'm not educated, Nuhu will not be behind me sitting as SA, being in the gathering of highly profile and educated people, sitting down with the representative of the Ministry of Youth, sitting down with representatives of the Deputy Speaker, and every other person that are here. So education is the reasons why we are also here. So it's one of the aspects whereby young people can also contribute to nation building. Social change and patriotism. Patriotism has become a very, very big issue whereby many young people, they are not inspired to be patriotic to their nation. And I keep on telling them, patriotism is an act, is your obligation to your country. So nobody needs to inspire you, nobody needs to discourage you. What inspired me to be patriotic might not be what inspired to be patriotic. When I was growing up, what inspired me to be patriotic is where I'm going, because I'm not there yet. I am still going, and the vision is still there. And today we are like 70% of where we are going, and we cannot get there. We need this country, and the country also needs us. And the only way you can get there, it is when you are patriotic. So many young people today, they are not patriotic. You see them tweeting against their country, and all those things also fight back. You can't be exporting products to other nations in the world, and you're not saying good about your country. How can I conceive what you are producing from a country that you don't speak good about? So patriotism is very key. And this is one of the critical areas that young people can also contribute to national development. Now, advantages of youth engagement in national development. One, we have dynamic workforce. Should I use this? We have dynamic workforce. The youth represent a large, adaptable segment of the population capable of responding to a new economic demand and technology shift. The dynamic workforce is very, very important. Today, the strength of young people are underutilized in this great country, which is very, 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 very not encouraging. You understand? So the workforce that we have in this country is similar to the strength of young people. If we can always come together as young people, it's going to contribute to the dynamic workforce of our country, because the strength is there, the mental capability is there, the technical know-how is there, and also what the population is the most important thing. That is what this number one is emphasizing on. Technologically fluency. Growing up in the digital age, young people are often more tech savvy, which aids in driving digital transformation across various industries. When the Mr. Chairman, the EFCC chairman, was talking about a young man, a youth who is less than 25 years, how the man operated his phone, how the man got his account details just with little or a pressing of the man. The man was surprised. So young people have this mental ability, and it is one of the greatest advantage that we can also bring these young people together to do what? To contribute to national development instead of allowing them to be used in other areas like cybercrime and other things. So young people have this mental ability, and it's one of the essence of advantage of youth engagement, because if we don't bring them together to engage them to national development, they will become an issue to us, because they will be involved in other areas, committing crimes, cyber crimes, and all those things. So that is why we need to bring them together, let them bring in their expertise, their experience to contribute to national development. They can also serve as agents of social change. Youth are typically more open to challenging outdated practices and pushing for more inclusive, progressive policies, fostering social reform. Yeah, we came together a few years ago. We talked about not too young to run bill. Is what they are talking about, pushing for more inclusiveness. Even here, as young people, we are all young people, and the reason why we even have more young women here is because of the convener of the program is also a young lady. And wherever they are, they always ensure that there is sensitivity, there is more gender inclusiveness, friendliness, and even more when it comes to the aspects of gender inclusion. Talking about progressive policy, many policies over the years has not been progressive when it comes to the issue that concerns the young people. So if they are not engaged positively, there's no way they can be pushing for progressive policy, fostering social reforms. Our social activities in the country has been so many bastardized because of young people seeks to follow some ideology that are not ideally to their own mindset, because of they have not been properly guided to be part of national development. I mean, you can't tell me to go to the other way around if I've not been engaged in the national development. Personally, because of my engagement in national development, there are some environment that you cannot find me. And there's some group of people you cannot even see me with. Even if you see me in any group of persons where they are contributing negatively to the society, my own role as a young person, as a leader who has been engaging in national development, is to change their mindset, to bring them back so for them to understand where they are, to contribute to national development. I want to tell you that in every society we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bad people have a role to play in contributing to national development. It depends on how you do what, how you work with them, how you package them, how you bring them closer. Just like institutions, we all attended one or two institutions or the other. We have the people who are the underside, we have the people who belong to care guides, we have the people who belong to the other side. And you cannot tell us that as we are all seated there, you don't know one person or the other who belong to all those groups that I just mentioned. But in one way or the other, those people, they have something meaningful to contribute to the society. Like when I was university, I know some people who belong to that part, but they used to write exam to some other people. So you keep on asking yourself one question: does it mean that in society like this, we have people who are doing well, who are extremely brilliant, but they belong to some places they cannot be proud of? Why? Because you have the ability to contribute to national development. People like Wole Soyinka, we know where he belonged when he was in institution. In fact, a founder of a particular group. But today, it's being celebrated nationwide. Nationally, he has won so many several awards. So they have roles to play as well. Recognition and growth. Advantages of youth engagement, also recognition and growth. Involvement in youth engagement, either by self or institution, enhances rapid recognition, advancement, and exposure to unlimited opportunities in the society. Yes. How did I become a chief? It's because of youth engagement in national development. God knows that I don't even have upstairs in my village. God knows that even my small house in the village, I don't even have a fence. I do not have a big company in Abuja that is employed 100
people or 200 people.
I cannot say that I have like 2 or 3 persons who are under my payroll. But it's because of this youth engagement in national development. You see me on television. You see me engaging the young people. You see me come to the village, addressing them during the election and all those things. You see me facilitating the polling units to my hometown. My hometown used to have not about 4 or 5 polling units. I facilitated more polling units to them. You see me engage in community development service. You see me serve as a secretary of the community in Abuja, secretary of the 2 local governments in Abuja, and all those things. So my king now said, let us call this young man. Let us use him as an example. Let us recognize, let us give him a chief. And I want to tell you that I'm the youngest chief in my local government. In the history of my family, I'm the first chief of my family. I'm the first chief as endorsed in my kindred by my present king. My present king is 98 years by age. So what am I trying to say? That you must not have big money, lobbying people before you can be. Now there's some simple thing, and some people just get yourself involved in national development. You are going to have recognitions, opportunity, just like I outlined. Today, I'm also EFS ambassador, just like you. It's also this, if you see me, I'm not EFCC staff for Doro. I know that many of you here, maybe I need to start checking your account, starting from Paving. So don't run away from you. I'm just an ambassador. But if you give me money, Paving will take. Somebody I came with it, I'll put the money in my boots. So that is recognition and growth. Development of the nation. Young people have contributed a lot to the development of the nation. You go to a country like Bangladesh, China, and co. They are the ones that contributed to the giant strike of their country through the special public work. You know the special public work that was introduced 2 years ago in Nigeria, that was spearheaded by the Minister of State, Labor and Productivity. And that initiative came across, they got that the young people. Bad governance. This bad governance is the reason why we are protesting. This bad governance is the reason why we have high rate of unemployment. This bad governance is the reason why we have crimes everywhere. No good roads, unemployment, no basic social amenities. Why would people be involving themselves in unnecessary migration, in irregular migration, going by road, going by sea, just to get to Italy here? Because of bad governance. So if you look at our young people today who are involved in irregular migration today, many people have died on the sea, who have died even on the desert and on the sea. Who could not even survive and they brought them back to Nigeria. It's because of bad governance. And if our government can look at this issue, it's going to be able to solve the problems of irregular migration. Lack of mentorship and capacity building. A lot of young people, they lack mentorship. Some of them, they choose to flaunt the people that does what, that flaunt their cards on social media. They will say, I want to become a senator. Why do you want to become a senator? Because I want to have so many cars in my garage. Those people are also mentors. So have people, they are also looking up to them as their mentee or as a mentor. So the way you, the kind of mentors that you choose will also contribute to your own life. So as young people, we must be careful the kind of mentors that you choose. Because capacity building, so many young people today, they are scared of building themselves. They are scared of going from one stage to another. When I was in university, I remember how I took a job as a security man. My friend Ekene would say, why you dey go school? School na scam, because he was working with one factory where they were paying him then, is it 18,000 naira or so. I told you that the money I spent in my textbook is more than your money. He said, you are a student, anytime you come back from holiday, now we dey buy you beer and all those things. They keep on making jest of me. But today is different. Are you getting me? They look up to me. They call me for help. But when I was coming, they arrested one of them. They said they brought him to the club where they were working or something. Once I leave here, I must go and resolve the issue. If I don't have IG to call, I have one or two parts from where they are. Is it education that brought me here or school na scam? Is it education? And the education we are talking about, some people will say education is a scam. I remember my younger brother, when he posted his daughter's child on social media, because he gave birth to that child out of wedlock. So me, I also commented. I said, "How? Congratulations to our outstanding daughter." My younger brother did not go to school. He did not understand the meaning of outstanding. He just took up to me, bros. If not because you are my elder brother, I will fight you. How dare you be calling my daughter outstanding? You know the mentality is because he gave birth to that girl out of wedlock. So he thought it's also outstanding. So ordinary me, I was supposed to react. I just said, let me not react. It's my younger brother. I remember when I was in university, he would remove his earring and give it to me. I'll go and sell it in Yaba. I'll buy one jeans and one clothes. I said, no, let me enlighten him. I said, okay, chooks, check the meaning of outstanding in the dictionary. After checking, he now called me back. Say, bro, I'm sorry, I did sorry, I did sorry. So education has become, it's another solution to empower youth in national development. Youth participation in governance. Imagine if I've not been participating as well in governance, I don't think I'll be here. I don't think I'll be recognized in the presidency. I don't think I will also giving back to my own community. I don't think I'll be able to facilitate pulling units and all those things to my community. I don't think I'll even be able to sponsor rural electrification in my hometown because of my resource. All I was in it, I'm not even giving them. Talk about support for young entrepreneurs. Yeah, if we don't support our young entrepreneurs, let me tell you, they will not be able to contribute. They will not be empowered to contribute to national development. A lot of young people are doing well today, but well, I thank God for Minister of Youth Development. He's very, very passionate about youth development. See, if you have any person that has not applied for any programs of the Ministry of Youth, please employ them to go, because the Ministry of Youth Development, under the watch of Engineer Comrade Ayodele Olawande, he did not call the last name Wisdom. He's determined. I know him well. The last message he sent me was, Chifubina, I miss you. Yeah, that was yesterday when he saw this program. So the ministry is determined to do what? To help a lot of young people. So if you have skills, if you apply for any of these, please keep applying. They are and there's a lot of resources in this administration to help the young people. So let us not be far from the ministry. Which other one, please? Mentorship and guidance. I've talked about it. It's another great solution. We are all leaders here in our respective field. Please mentor people. Please guide our young people. They all need help. Some of them, they have the money or the resources. If you leave them alone, they will be buying cars. They will not contribute to national development. I remember when I spent about 30-something million naira to put rural electricity in my hometown. So many young people in my hometown, they have the money. But they prefer to buy Venza, to buy Jaguar, to buy and be blowing dust around every person. Yes, but if you guide them, you mentor them, that because of your field and because of what you're aspiring to be tomorrow and because of who they look up to, please invest, contribute to your community. Invest properly in your development. So they need our guidance, they need our mentorship. Good governance. Good governance will automatically solve the problems that we are talking about in this nation. If we have good governance in this country, I want to bet you, many of us today will not be even suffering, we will not be even avoiding people's calls. The reason why we are avoiding people's calls because we have received maybe 10 account numbers or the other. If you are sitting down here and you are not be receiving account number, I don't know why you are here. You are not supposed to be here. So people like us have been received because they will see you will see your face on social media today. They will see, and they're not seeing you in Akure, in Owerri, in Lagos, in Bauchi, Zamfara. They're seeing you in Abuja. So they have assumed that we all have money. That you now say to Deputy Speaker, Minister of the you already have Justina Isaac, you already have money. Even if you don't want to smile, I must make you smile. Moyilola Uluwa, you already have money. My brother, yeah, you already have money. The one sitting beside, she has more money. So she must be receiving. Is it Nuhu? Who have money? Is it Ruth? Who doesn't have more money? They will send you a message. So if we have good governance, where young people can strive, where young people can bring out their expertise, I don't think there will be unnecessary migration, irregular migration. I don't even conceive the idea of traveling abroad. The only thing that can take me to abroad is go for a program, live in this country. What about people that does not believe? They don't have a platform to sit here. That bad governance is fighting every day. We are enduring because we have future. Yes, we all have future. We are enduring because we are seeing the light. We are sitting down with convener. It's not easy to sit down with convener. We are hopeful because we are sitting down representative of Minister of. I know before you leave here, we'll collect his complimentary card. Everybody will take your complimentary card. So we are all hopeful because we are here together as one family that have prospects. What about those people? And the only solution to their problem is good governance. So, having given you insights on the role of the youth on national development, in conclusion, by recognizing the untapped potential of youth and harnessing the challenges they face, nations can harness their energy and creativity, ensuring a prosperous and sustainable future for all. However, let it be known that no nation can develop without the active participation and contribution of the youth in governance, policy formulation, and decision making process. Now, this program has brought us together to do what? To make the young people more responsible so that they will shun unnecessary migration and irregular migration and to become important citizens and more responsible in their society. So let me tell all of us here, if we fail to make these people more responsible in the society, we can be held somehow for their failure to be responsible. Thank you very much.
Mr. DGCYMS, you know, when we were looking for somebody to deliver this paper, it was just you that came to mind because I know that you would deliver this the way we want to hear it. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
So, very quickly, just to let us know, I know people online will not like this. Just let us know that we would not be breaking for tea, but we'll have a working tea break. Please, when you care for tea, just walk behind this banner. You see the tea and snacks there, so help yourself. Online viewers, just let me know how you want your tea break to be served to you. If you can, if you can, okay, somebody said emoji, so we'll pass some coffee emojis to you right now. Then also, online participants, we want to know where you are connecting from. Please test your name via the chat box, your name and the location you are connecting from. Please, we really want that too. Then also we ask that we'll have a 1 minute break to take our group photograph because some persons may want to go for other official engagements. So please we'll have a group photograph. Online participants, while we're having our group photograph, please test your name and where you're watching from. If it's Lagos, if it's Italy, if you have Jackpa already, write it there. We want to know where you're watching from. Thank you very much. Hello, can you hear me? All right, so thanks for sending your names and your location. So I'll just go over the few names I can see now. Oh, actually plenty, not few. So thank you very much, Rita Abu, you're connecting from Lagos. Ernest, you're connecting from Lagos. Precious Dania from Port Harcourt, thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, Chidima, thanks. She said the presentation by the DGCYMS was really insightful. Thank you so much. Onyinye Anene connecting from Oka, Anambra State. That's my classmate actually. Thank you so much, Onyinye, for connecting. Chilean is joining us from Lagos. Thank you, Chilean. Chidiman Violet connecting from Benin City. Rosemary from Abuja. Blessing from Lagos. Blessing Yaramola, thank you for joining us. Catherine Agada, you're joining us from Ireland. That's really nice. Thanks for joining us. So that means we have a Nigerian in diaspora in this session right now. Catherine, it's nice to have you here. Sarafina Uwaila connecting from Abuja. Thank you so much for joining. So we're just trying to settle in now from the picture and the tea time. So Nelson, if you can hear us, Nelson, you're up next. Hello, Nelson, are you there? You can unmute to just talk to us. Hello, Nelson. If you can hear us, please say hi or unmute your mic and say hi to us so we can know you are online at the moment. Okay. Can you say something so we hear you, please? Let's confirm if that's coming from here. Okay, Nelson said he's speaking, but we can't hear you. So let's try to resolve that because he's up next and he'll be talking to us shortly. No, Nelson, we can't hear you. He's trying to confirm. So can you say something now?
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you, but can you speak up a bit, please?
Yes.
So we're trying to sort that out. Can you say hello, Nestle?
Hi everyone. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now. So before you start, I'll do a brief introduction of who Nelson is. So Nelson is the GCM Regional Project Lead for Africa, and he's going to be taking the global migration governance, the role of youth participation in the global migration governance space. So Nelson is a representative of the MYCP. The MYCP is the Migration and Youth Children Platform, which is under the MGCY, which is the major group for children and youth, a space for children and youth in the United Nations. So I also want to appreciate the MYCP for giving me the opportunity to work with you for 2 years as a volunteer. All of those experiences breathed this process we're having right now. So Nelson will be talking to us now on the role of youth in global migration governance. So Nelson, would you want to share your screen from there or to share from here?
If you can share it from there, that might be better.
All right. So media, the document is named Nelson. So it's our turn to struggle to hear now. So Nelson, please introduce yourself and let us know where you're joining us from this morning. Please go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm still not sure if you can hear me or not. Should I get one?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead, but just be audible.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in this very useful forum. My name is Nelson Sege. I'm the DCM Regional Project Lead for Africa at MYCC. That's the Migration Youth and Children Platform. Today I will be talking about the importance of youth participation in migratory governance. If the next slide, please. Okay. Okay, here. I think you've already done a very good job of introducing. Sorry. Okay. You went. Can you go to the previous slide? No, that's the back slide. Previous one. No. Yes, there you go. That's the second slide. So I think you specifically related to the trade. So the consultations will collect ideas and thoughts and perspectives from young people from all over Africa and actually all over the world. So we have one main plan for Africa, which I am leading for between this year and next year, end of this year and next year. And then we will collect these recommendations to be compiled into a regional policy brief, and this will be presented at the Global Migration Policy Forum. We can move to the next slide. So I'll next talk briefly about these upcoming Africa youth consultations. So they will involve two aspects, that's the capacity building sessions, and it will be followed by youth consultations. So basically we will bring in experts with experiences and the perspectives and teach forward the global of migration and how it affects young people and how we can all contribute to implementation. The sessions will focus on key issues of these objectives, ensuring African youth share their experiences and propose solutions aligned with these same priorities. They will also include a skill building component that I've mentioned, such as capacity building sessions, and it will go through policy analysis, advocacy training, and basically empowering people on issues of migration. So the outcomes of this is so the consultations will take a thematic format. So the first consultation we will be running is this December. So we're in the process of working on it. So the first thematic area will be health and climate change. So it will be running. It will happen in December. I think sometime in December 10th. So when we have the actual date, we will send them out to our partners and encourage people to join these forums, join these consultations, and bring in their perspective and come and learn about the compact measures and how it affects young people on issues of these thematic areas, so health and climate change in migration context. And then we'll follow the other capacity building and consultations on again the DCM in January, February, and March. And there will also be a public call for participants in my city checker pages and in our partner pages. Then go to the next slide. Yes, so as I mentioned, the first consultation will happen in December. So I will encourage every youth-led organization and also individual young people to come and actually be part of this consultation. And that's how everyone will should be part of this because the consultation will end up influencing policy, and that's the entire reason again because of how youth can be involved in actual governance and migration. So they're able to actually contribute to developing regional youth perspective on migration and influence the outcomes of this global compact on migration through providing a unified youth perspective and voice. At the end of each consultation, each participating organization and each participating youth is going to receive official recognition that is by the organization MyCP and other partner organizations that will be announced in the next coming weeks. The consultations will also allow you to network with other NGOs and stakeholders on issues of migration and also pretty much policy matters and people in governance. So I will encourage young people from every from Nigeria to also come and be part of these consultations. Next slide, please. Yes, this is my last slide. So, if you would like to be part of this consultation on my city, I will encourage you to email this. This is my email. You can send me an email, and I will send you a brief write-up of what the consultation will be about and how you can be part of this process. Again, thank you so much for inviting me to this very useful forum. If anybody has any questions, you can put them up in the chat box. I'm happy to respond. And also, if you're willing to reach out and you can try and you want to be part of these consultations and capacity building sessions as a youth led organization, I'm also happy to receive by email.
Hello? So, hello, can you hear me, Nessin?
Yes, I can
All
hear
right,
you.
great. So, yeah, thank you very much for representing the MYCP, the African Region on that platform. So, I'd like to know, are there restrictions or what are the restrictions actually? Can anybody just join the MYCP or there's a particular category of persons that can join?
Thank you. Can you repeat the last thing you asked?
You want me to repeat the question? All right, so I would like to know if there are restrictions because so many persons may be interested in joining the MYCP because opportunity to be in the global space for migration governance. So who and who can join? Is there any age limit? Are there educational limits or something?
MICP, as the name suggests,
If they can also consider this for Africa. I think that was one challenge I had. So at the time where I was going to vying for other positions, I clocked 30 and I could not continue. It was quite painful because the MYCB is a platform that you enter and you don't want to leave anymore. And for us here in Africa, for some other countries, so many countries in Africa, the age is 35. The limit is 35 to be a youth. So this could be our advocacy from you to the MYCP at the global level. So please adjust the age or do something about it. All right. So another person here has something to say to you. Let me turn off.
In the Youth Development Ministry, yes, and in our youth policy 2019, that will subsist to 20, it's under review actually. We recognize it as 15 to 29. Yes, then. So see, it's good to make some adjustments to this age because actually we believe that this is the transitional period. Yes, then. From 15 years, if you check the trend, you find that our younger people are well, the migration issues doesn't consider age. Even people at 14, 15, hopeless people, just people that have lost hope, migrate. So I can even give out some of the documents like it will be my pleasure to give Mary and the DG Chief Obinna. Yes, and most of these documents that backs up this submission. So it's actually under review. The review process is on by 15 to 29. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Federal Ministry of Youth. So, Nelson, do you want to react to those or you got the message clearly? We'll take that again. Says from Catherine Joseph, joining us from Ireland, a Nigerian. She says she does integration program for African migrants in Ireland. She feels that something needs to be done in terms of the rights of African migrants in Europe. And of course, Nelson as representative of Africa at the MYCP. So she feels that something needs to be done on the rights of migrants in Europe. What kind of support does the MYCP have for those that have migrated but want to return back or are already deported to Africa? So Nelson, if you got that. So does the MYCP have any support for African migrants in Europe? If yes, what kind of support do they have? Especially the ones that want to return back home or are already deported.
I'm not sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you come again, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that message, question, Catherine. That's a very important question. So as MICP is a global platform, so we have representatives and lead and team leads in basically every continent. So what I would encourage is, especially for African migrants in Europe, the best support will be to reach out to the team lead in Europe. And that way they can offer direct support to the migrants who have issues there that would want to be supported when they're not in Africa, the African migrant in that region. So one thing I can do is also provide an email to the tracker, right? And I can, people can use that when I'm local there. But I can put that on the tracker.
All right, so we have another participant that wants to ask a question. Mr. Mandy, the mic is just not present.
Hello, Mr. Nelson, can you hear me?
Put it on. Okay, speak.
Mr. Nelson, can you hear me? Alright, thank you very much, Mr. Nelson. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay, the issue I want to react to is the fact that, we know there is an incoming president in the United States now, and one of his top policies would be the deportation of illegal migrants. And I'm sure that this is going to pretty much affect all or most of the European countries as well. They're going to probably eliminate this policy. So my suggestion is, I think there needs to be a kind of a thought ahead or thinking ahead as regards to the kind of support or help that the organization and most of the organizations in Africa working on migrations on how to effectively help those who are going to be affected by this deportation. We all know who at least President Trump is, and he's very serious about the issue of the deportation of illegal migrants, and this is going to be a great problem. So I'm just suggesting that maybe we should have some kind of thought ahead. We should have some plans at least ahead of time before that disaster comes in and meet another disaster. We already have a problem of some Africans in the diaspora being deported, and it's going to add up to the problem that we already have on ground. So I think we need to have some kind of a forethought as regards to that, if that's very feasible. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
formal and informal avenues when it comes to policy design. So the kind of rules that we have probably at a UN level, we need to have actual voices of people who are living through these experiences. So that's one of the things that we are trying to achieve. And we're also making sure that organizations at grassroots levels are able to spread this information and knowledge that you see that people will live, let's say Africa and go to Europe, and they don't know exactly the kind of procedures, what they need to do when they're there, the kind of support that you will have when they in those countries. So we're also trying to ensure there's a dissemination of knowledge, and this potentially probably will have a bigger impact in ensuring that people are not suffering when they migrate in the long run. And yeah, that's great.
So Winifred, over to you. Use the mic, please.
Hi everyone. So I just wanted to react to the question he asked. Thanks to Mary, I can relate to most of what's being said here today because by profession, I'm a finance person. So, and why I am today is because I asked a lot of questions. So that's why I can diversify into so many other. So I wanted to ask, you said Trump, I heard the news of Trump disposing illegal migrants, and you said it's going to be a very big problem for Nigerians or for the United States. Because if, as a president, I have illegal migrants, I wouldn't want them to stay. So I really need to be clear on the question. Is it going to be a problem for them or for us? And prior before my NYC, I didn't know there was anything like youth, whatever. Maybe I had an idea, but I didn't know it was that active. I'm just seeing them here today. I heard of them during my NYC when I had to give a talk on something. That was when I knew. But I think it's only answer today.
All right, thank you very much. Did you see YMS? He just stepped out, maybe to have a bathroom break or something. So as soon as he comes back, I will let him know that you have a lot of questions for him. I hope he's not in any sort of trouble because you actually he is able to say I have a lot of questions for him. So thank you very much. So there's a response here in the chat box. I think it's in response to Catherine's question, where she's asking if there's any plan for Africans in Europe that are being deported. It's from Iyagi Abraham Ernest. He says that IRARA is International Returns and Reintegration Assistance. IRARA has a clear, definite support tagged Arrives project, and it's for returnees from Germany. The support will enable them access free funding for income-generating business that enables them establish and add values to themselves and society. So if you have anyone returning from Germany, for now, contact IRARA for conversations and assistance as quick as possible. Oh, okay, they said the audio is restored now. So, Catherine, Ernest, you can drop your email address here or you private chat Catherine so she can get your contact, since you said IRARA has a clear, definite support tagged Arrives project. So I'm sure she will know some Nigerians in Germany that may want to return back home under this initiative of IRARA. So thank you very much. So since we don't have any more questions for Nelson, we'll move to the next one so we can keep to our word of not keeping you here for too long. So what we'll have... Oh, yes, Mr. Suleiman, please. You want to respond to your question? With the first question. Very well. The mic, please, so that those online can hear also. So let's just leave this one down there, please. Just don't return this back to me. Okay.
Okay, Wilfred, thank you for the question. I think it's going to be a problem for every country, right? Because it takes a lot to actually travel and it takes a lot to actually come back. So when countries like the United States are saying that they're going to deport, look at the distance, for example, from Nigeria to the United States. Look at the processes that people have to go through, right? And so, problem for us in Nigeria or in Africa, for example, we have people who are leaving their jobs to fly out to migrate to other countries. So if they do that illegally, for example, they will have to be deported, right? And so when they come back in the country, they don't have jobs. They are also, in addition to the problems of unemployment, for example, right? So it's a problem for everyone, both the United States or any other country thereabout, or Nigeria or Africa, right? That's why I think there is even an agency to help those who are being deported, right? So it's actually an issue. It is not an issue when you legally migrate in another country, right? But it is an issue in the first place when you go illegally. You are being abused. You are not being treated with the respect that you need to be treated with. You are harassed, you are bullied, you understand? You are being looked down. And the most painful thing is that you have a threat from authorities that they are going to take you from that place you went for refuge or seeking for greener pastures to the place that you run away from. For example, say Nigeria, for example. If you come back, let's say that 100,000 Nigerians are deported back to Nigeria. Now, you and I and everybody in this room knows the problems that are in Nigeria right now. We have the problem of education, healthcare, unemployment. Let's say there are maybe 50,000 young people. They're deported back to Nigeria. So I will ask you a question. Is that an additional problem to Nigeria or not? That is an additional problem to Nigeria, right? Let's say out of that 50,000 young people, there are maybe, let's say, 40,000 people, young people who cannot find jobs. That is an issue. Maybe out of that 40,000, there are maybe, let's say, 10,000 who came back with health challenges. That is an issue, not only to the government, but to their own families as well, right? So let's say out of those, there are children, for example, who cannot cater for themselves. It is an issue for the government and for every other stakeholder, right? And let's not forget, even the ones who are going to do the deportation have to spend resources as well. They have to take out of their taxpayers' money, you understand, to deport them back. So it's an issue for them. It's an issue for everyone, right? It's a huge challenge for everybody. So I think, Mr. Nelson, if you can hear me right, please let's find more ways to help people who are being deported. And let's also advocate for people to be, there's nothing wrong with migration. It happens throughout history. People have been migrating from one place to another, looking for education, for greener pastures, for employment opportunities. That's nothing wrong with that. This has been the standard practice. But let us continue to advocate the fact that people need to do it in a legal way so that you respect yourself enough. You have that honor and dignity that will be extended to even your children and your own families. So I think it's important to understand that, Wilfred, at this point, that this is an issue for everyone. It's going to be an extension of the problems that we already have on the ground. Thank you.
That if we get into this whole U.S. deportation issue and the campaign issues, we wouldn't live here today, definitely. So I guess we'll just lay that to rest. Maybe when we're out for lunch, we can discuss further. Yeah, so yeah, if we don't have any more questions for Nelson from the NYCP, I guess it's time to move to the next item on our agenda. It's already past 1 p.m., so we have to hurry up. And we're almost at the stage where we'll have to do the dialogue, the main reason why we're here to discuss on how best we can enhance youth participation in migration governance in Nigeria. But before then, I think we need to know what migration governance in Nigeria is and how far Nigeria has come in its implementation of its migration policies, programs, and other activities that it has. So media, if you help me just quickly project the Nigeria Migration Governance PowerPoint slide. So while that is on, Ernest Iyagi from Lagos says that, for me, it would not be an issue to return back home if you're an irregular migrant in another man's country. But the issue here is our focus should be on our government to create an enabling environment for returnees to thrive. So this is an initiative coming from a youth. He says that coming back home is not the problem, but we have to hold our government accountable to ensure that these return migrants have an enabling environment to thrive. So, Secretariat, I hope we have that down. Thank you very much, Ernest, for your contribution. This is Winifred. I hope you are aware that Nigeria has a governance structure also. Thank you. Yes. So we're saying here that Nigeria is a major player in the global regional cooperation for a better management of migration. So one thing you should note that over the years, Nigeria has really done well in collaborating, partnering with partners across the world, both at the global and regional space, to ensure that we have a better management of migration. Well, some persons will say it's because we have so many Nigeria is a country of origin. That means we have so many people migrating from here. Others will say it's because Nigeria is also a transit. People pass through here to go to other places. But whatever reason, Nigeria is a major player in the global and regional cooperation for a better management of migration. Nigeria has entered into numerous bilateral and multilateral relationships with countries and organizations. We have frameworks, we have ratified conventions, and the government has an established structure. It will interest you to know that we have a commission that manages migration or coordinates all migration issues in Nigeria, and that is the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. We're supposed to have them here, but maybe they have other engagements. I know it's Saturday also, and it's not be easy to pull out a government official on Saturday. They really need to rest. So the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons is under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Also, Nigeria has participated in various regional events leading to the GCM. You know, when Nelson was presenting earlier, he talked about the GCM. So for those that don't know what the GCM is, I'll break it down as much as possible. So in 2018, for the first time ever, world leaders came together. Everybody that has issues with migration, both non-state actors and state actors, they came together to say, migration affects all of us. I may be a country of origin, but my citizens go through transit countries. They go through your own country and they go to another person's country. So it affects all of us. The only way we can help manage this migration is to work together collaboratively. So the world came together in 2018 to sign an agreement, a non-binding agreement, but it's just there to guide us. It's the GCM. It's called the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration. And Nigeria is at the forefront in the implementation of that GCM. In fact, we're even a champion country because we have various strategies in place to implement the GCM. So if you have not come across the GCM before, I would advise that you go online, just download the document. After this meeting, you can go through the document to see all of the provisions, wonderful provisions that we have for the GCM. Oh, I have this here. So now this is what the structure is for migration governance in Nigeria. So at the first level, we have the ministerial committee, which is chaired by the Ministry of Justice. Then we have the second level, which is the technical working group, and it's chaired by the coordinator of migration issues in Nigeria. That's the NCFRMA, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and IDPs. And at the third level of coordination, we have the thematic groups. And the fourth level, we have the state and non-state actors. So this is a whole lot, and this session will not be enough to explain this, but just know that we have this structure. Now, the third level of coordination has the same way we say, mama born many children. So those thematic working groups, we have 5 of them in Nigeria. the 5 thematic working groups. And the first one, we have the Standing Committee on Diaspora Matters, which is led by the NIDCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. So that's why it's popular or regular for us to see Abike Dabiri on the news, because she handles that particular commission, and it's a thematic working group of the governance structure of migration in Nigeria. Then we have the working group on labor migration. Labor migration has to do with employment or migrating for economic benefit, and that particular thematic group is led by the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. And we also have the working group on return, readmission, and reintegration. So, Catherine, you asked about reintegration of Nigerians in Europe and some other countries. If you are to work closely with any group, this is a group you have to work with, since you're already carrying out such activities in Ireland. So you have to work with the working group on return, readmission, and reintegration. And that group is led by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and IDPs. Then we have the working group on migration data management strategy. It is led by the National Population Commission, NPC, supported by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. Then we have the Stakeholders Forum on Border Management, which is led by the NIS, that's the Nigerian Immigration Service, with the support of NATIC, that's the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Like I said, this is a whole lot. You cannot eat it in one day. You can just have a screenshot of it, or when the PowerPoint is shared with us, you can go through it to have a better understanding of this. So, are Nigerians migrating? Of course, you already know the answer to that, but we need proof to show that we know that Nigerians are migrating. So, in 2024, the International Organization for Migration reported that we have about 17 million Nigerians abroad as of 2024. 17 million Nigerians, and I'm sure this record for those that are documented actually, so I'm sure there will be more maybe undocumented migrants, Nigerian migrants abroad, but this is the official record we have, and this was published in August 23rd, 2024, 4:30 p.m. by Pulse Nigeria. So is it wrong to migrate? It's really not wrong to migrate at all, because we're actually exercising our rights as obtained in Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says that everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state, and you also have that right to leave the borders of your country. But you know, every country is a sovereign nation, and they have their own rules and regulations that you can use to enter or leave. They can decide that you enter or not. But just know that migration is not a bad thing. So, and like we always say in this space, that I think this was the first phrase I learned in the migration space, that migration is a multifaceted phenomenon that if harnessed, you can achieve the benefits. So maybe with time, as you grow in the space, you also learn that phrase, because all of us know it somehow. Yeah. Overview of migration in Nigeria. So we have the internal migration. People are moving within Nigeria. So maybe from, if I ask our state of origin now, you find out that many of us are from different states, but we're here in Abuja today. So that means that we are internal migrants. It's either rural, urban, or urban, rural. Some people will say people move from urban to rural. Yes, for different reasons, but that's a discussion for another day. Then we have the international migration, which is the popular one, leaving Nigeria, the Jackpot syndrome that is everywhere right now. Then, apart from that, we have internal migrants, we have internal migration, and we have international. There's a particular one that is silent that we tend to not always talk about. The fact that there are migrants in Nigeria. Whenever we talk about migration, we're quick to say, Nigerians are going out, or I moved from Edo State to Abuja. But we keep forgetting the fact that there's some Nigerians, some foreigners in Nigeria also, and mostly from West African countries. You know, we have the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol, which helps us move helps in regional integration. So we have so many West Africans here, just as we have many Nigerians in other West African countries. So this is just a call that whenever we're talking about migration, let's not forget this particular group of persons, because we have them here with us in Nigeria. So youth migration in Nigeria, the causes, the challenges, and opportunities. I won't waste so much time here. I would like that those of us watching us online could also just write on the chat box about youth migration in Nigeria. I believe about 90% of us in this meeting today are youths. So do you know why youths are migrating? The causes, the challenges, and the opportunities. And from here, I would like to hand over to the next person who will take up from this conversation. We have heard now that migration happens in Nigeria and youths are migrating. In fact, youths have the highest propensity to migrate in Nigeria. When you talk about migration in Nigeria, what we talk about is youth. So I would want to introduce the next person who is representative of the Augustina Center for Advocacy, Justice, and Peace here with us, and also a youth leader who is pushing for change. Joy, I'm proud of you. I'll say it here for everybody. I'm proud of your growth also. So it's time for us to dive deeper and engage in the dialogue session well. So Joy, over to you.
Google Safari for the iOS users, and then you're going to type menti.com, menti.com. Okay, please, they really need to follow. I wish I can monitor that. But if you're online, you can also join us. This session is not restrictive. So I also need you to go to your search engine, be it Google or Chrome, and type on menti.com. If you have done that, can I just see a thumbs up emoji? Miss Mary will be monitoring that on my behalf since I can't see what's happening there. If we have like 3 of that, then we can proceed. For those of us here, are we there? If you're at the right place, it should be asking you for a code. Okay. Digi is just joining in. You spoke about us being tech savvy, so I expected you to lead the process on this. Okay, I understand. menti.com. No, just menti.com. I.com. Please don't tell me the network here is bad. Okay, can we get 2 more thumbs up so we progress? Yes, just type on that and go. Yeah, it will request for a code. That's how you know you're in the right place. Who is that person? I think it's an online participant. Okay, so let me just call the code so that we can progress. The code is 45460775. I'll take that again. 45460775. Now, I don't expect people answering no because the previous session introduced the Nigerian migration governance structure to us. So I'm surprised at we having responses on no. Okay, well, that can pass too. So all of us here, have we done that? Obviously no, because we have we have 6 now. The online participants, can you just let me glance if we have like 2 more thumbs up so that, because I want us to be carried along. Sorry? No, it's not my intention to influence. Okay, so far we have 7 respondents and we are over 7 here. Okay, we have 2. Online participant, I just need 1 more person. I expect all of us in the hall to have done that. Okay, so I'm going to call the code again. They can see this here, online participant. Okay. Okay, so the code is there. We have 8 for the sake of our time. Miss Mary said she really wants to be time conscious, so we are going to move on. So I'm surprised we have 3, but then I believe it depends, like he said, it depends on your interpretation of knowledge, but from the surface, something has been said on Nigerian migration governance structure, so I believe we'll be able to answer the next few questions. So I'm going to go to the next slide. How many levels of coordination are involved in the migration governance structure? She mentioned it and it was displayed. You know, at some point, Miss Mary said something like there will be bonuses or gifts as such. So I don't know. Okay. So that still stands. Okay, so we have 5 respondents going for 4. That's the thing. That's the thing. I hope nobody is just waiting to see, okay, which one is, okay, I think it's this red because we have 9 respondents. Okay, so we are correct. We have 4 levels of coordination involved in the migration governance structure. So, like we've mentioned earlier, there are 4 levels. And which of the following is not part of the Nigerian migration governance structure? So one of these is actually not a level. Spot that out and tell us. Okay? Okay, are we sure? Are we sure? Okay. I like the fact that we don't have only one answer anymore. Somebody is trying to, okay? Is it the ministerial committee? Is it the technical working group? Is it the thematic group? Is it the engagement group or the state and non-state actors? I feel like our response now is slow. We had higher engagement in the last slide. Okay, it's the network. Okay, so we blame it on the network because the network cannot talk for itself. That's fine. Okay, so I'm seeing two responses saying two for ministerial committee. I would like to say that the answer is engagement group. The top level of coordination is the ministerial committee, like she mentioned earlier, and the engagement group is not part of the coordination. Thank you. So this is actually subjective, and it's saying what is the level of your involvement in the Nigerian migration governance? You as a youth, you in your space, how are you engaging in the Nigerian migration governance? We would want to know that because that is what will shape in our discussion this afternoon. Okay, I'm seeing high. Wow. Okay. Okay, I think our conversation is going to be based on our responses now. Okay, I'm going to start from the high. We had, I hope they are not, okay, even if they are online respondents, that said their level of involvement in the Nigerian migration governance is high. So if that was your response, can you just share how you have been involving in the Nigerian migration governance and how actively you've been involved? Because you mentioned that your engagement is high. So whose response is that? We have 3 respondents. What is happening? Like, okay.
For me, I did mention high, probably not in the aspect of engagement with youth. Currently, I work with the migration network, and we've been doing quite a lot when it comes to issue of migration in its broader sense, especially irregular migration. I know I once had an opportunity to engage with the Ministry of Youth to talk about irregular migration. So I think that would pass me to say my engagement is a bit high. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that is actually commendable about creating awareness because, I mean, there's a lot of ignorance out there about irregular migration and the dangers of it. So that is actually very commendable. Thank you very much. Can we hear from the Ministry of Youth?
Okay, it's Joy. Thank you. Yes,
Welcome.
and sorry, my position is actually high in the sense that, people that migrate are young people. So Ministry of Youth, we engage in extensive sensitization programs. In our programs, we try to educate and inform young people of the dangers of irregular migration. Initially, that's where we started off, and now we've proceeded to, we are telling them, we're teaching them regular pathways to migration, and we're teaching them the benefits of regular migration to the society. Yes, and teaching them of their rights. And, we started initially from Nasarawa State, we've gone down to the South, and we intend going down to the Northwest and other parts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It's actually good to see that the Ministry of Youth is doing really well on that. I mean, we don't expect anything less. If not, there's trouble on that. So we actually have the representative of the Ministry of Youth said that, and then a representative of the CSO. So it's very good because when we talk about GC and what comes to mind is the whole of government and whole of society. And they have mentioned that that is being played very well. So down to those that said medium, what is influencing that level of engagement? I think I'll actually join the medium and low. So, okay, he has been mentioning you since, and I don't know. Okay, so just go ahead. What has been influencing that level of engagement, the low level of engagement or medium, as case may be?
Okay, as a youth, I've been involving in so many youth development and policy, volunteering into so many youth organizations, putting in my work in my community, organization around that benefits the youth and the youth policies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So what was your response? Was it medium because you are doing something already, but I mean, you're not yet there, yeah? Okay, so how about those that said low, your level of engagement is being low with the Nigerian migration governance? We want to hear from you. Like I said, this is what we I mean, most of us, majority of those in this room selected low, so I'm expecting more responses. Can we get a few? Thank you.
For me, I chose low because I think until 3 days back, I didn't even know about the GCM and the migration structure. I didn't know about that. So for me, my response is low because it's now that I'm getting to know about this information. I'm getting to know that even the Ministry of Youth is doing a lot concerning migration. So
Yeah.
that's why I have.
Thank you very much. As you were talking, she was trying to, put in your 2 cents. Say it in your own words. We want to hear from you.
She just got to the Ministry of Youth. I'm so sorry, but I used to say this prior before my NYC. I didn't know there was anything like youths, whatever, in Nigeria. I knew, but I felt like it wasn't active. There was nothing going on. There's nothing. Everything about youth.
But you're a youth, be careful. Be careful so that you not.
Help you, talk on behalf of youth, just anything about you, and I know it's a big step, but it's inactive for me.
Okay.
I've not feel the impact. Thank you.
Okay, I think I will come in there before we get the other response.
Just to add
Okay,
to
go
what you
ahead.
said, for me, I'm just getting to know that the Ministry of Youth also they promote migration, regular migration. I'm just getting to know about that now. I used to think the Ministry of Youth they do more than the sports. That's all they do. So good to know now that if you notice when you were talking, I was like, oh really? I just got to know about that. And so I think we need to do more. Let some of us know. I think that's what I just need to add because we never knew.
Okay, let's get some of them, please. You want to say something, Justina?
The ministry needs to do a lot, leveraging social media, you take like so I think for me that is just an issue. Awareness creation. Once it's there, that's what it's all. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, please, before you go ahead, from the technical team, if you're not speaking into your mic, they can't hear you. That's our virtual participant, so ensure that you're speaking into the mic. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Please, it's not that I think the question we need to ask is the ministry doing something already, and so they need to do more. So I think that's the question.
Okay, thank you. I think the ministry is already ready to respond to everything people have said, but that would actually kickstart the recommendations. We've highlighted the challenges. So what is the way forward? Where do we go from here? Because it seems like there's a gap from those at the high level and those at the grassroots. So we need to find a way to bridge this gap. So like I said, the ministry is going to kickstart that conversation. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, actually. Yes, then I actually accept that we need to do more. But in terms of doing, we are actually doing. Yes, then we're actually doing because every area needs to do more. Yes, then. And we're actually doing, like, if you visit our website, yes, then, and apart from that, you walk in, you come to our office, make this inquiry. Yes, then, because at times, this information is just at our disposal, but, I don't know, maybe issue of trust or something, I don't know, people just ignore them. Like presently, now let me tell you something that will interest you. During, in time of Buhari, during our former minister, Sunday Dare, we had the National Youth Investment Fund, 75 billion naira, given to young entrepreneurs, yes, and to start up businesses. Mohamed Buhari launched it, yes, and now there is a relaunch of that same initiative, Yes, then under our comrade, our minister, our president minister, Ayodele. And now it has been increased to 110 billion. For Nigerian youth, young entrepreneurs, Yes, yes. Once you're qualified, actually it has processes. Yes, then they give you the criteria. You have an organization and all this. You give them business ideas and everything. Then when they buy in, yes, then they know where they come in. And we apart from that, we have platforms like presently we have youth development centers. Yes, then and if in this room now many people don't know the youth development centers. Youth development centers is just like it's facilities where youth are being trained. And we take into cognizance, trending, empowerment schemes that's very useful, even to people that are traveling. Like in that place is just like a body camp. When we'll bring you in for 2-3 weeks, we'll feed you, we'll take care of you, then we give you training, tailoring, agriculture, robotics, name them, and it won't end there. It won't end there. When we give you training, we'll give you startup kits. If it's finance, we'll support you. Then, we still, from time to time, check up on you to know how you are doing. Yes, sir, we recommend other organizations that can assist you. Yes, then. And let me leverage on what our chief, our comrade, Obina said. He said, when they were advocating for not too young to run, yes, then. The Ministry of Youth was at the forefront. He can tell you that. Not too young to run. Yes, then. And now we are trying to institutionalize the 30% affirmation participation for youth in governance. We know the youth needs more opportunities, yes, then, to work. So in terms of empowerment programs, we do it. Yes, then. It's not the real Nigerian thing that, let me not go there. Just come. Come, get this information. Yes, then. Or go to our website. Get this information. We are existing and we are working strongly. Seriously. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Please, we always support our ministry. Even if you are saying that you have not been hearing about people coordinating the youth. But you did your NYC, isn't it? Is the NYC not an agency under the Federal Ministry of Youth? Then what is the NYC also doing? Are they not coordinating the youth? I'm reacting to your question. No, you emphasize on it. You emphasize on it. So the NYC is an agency under the Federal Ministry of Youth Development. But before, it used to be Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. In fact, in 2029 post-general election, we organized a press conference. Our organization, CYMS, we called for the separation of the ministry. Separation of Ministry of Solomon Dalong. He was only focusing on sports. In fact, our organization did not even go to the ministry when Solomon Dalong was there till he left. When Sunday Dare was also there, we did not even go until he left. So we just decided that we are not going to do anything with that. In fact, when the Sunday Dare was the minister, we initiated the South African Nigerian Youth Day Dialogue when there was xenophobic attack. You can Google it, Chifobina, South African High Commission. We developed the program, the exchange program. South African High Commission adopted it. At the end of the day, that program prompted the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, to visit Nigeria. He came to Nigeria because of that same program, and they announced it. But do you know that the ministry killed that program? Yes, the Ministry of Youth, because when it was time to nominate and to recommend young people to visit the South Africa because of that same exchange program, the ministry, they were busy nominating older people, 6 years and above, people who were not even part of the coordination, development of the same program. I don't know if you know Osahon. Ask him, tell him that you are with Chifobina. I don't want to even sit close to him because of that. They destroyed it. So what I'm trying to say, some people have the same opinion that the Ministry of Youth is not doing anything. But I want to tell you, it is the Ministry of Youth of those days, not the Ministry of Youth that we have now. The ministry, apart from the Ministry of Youth, so many youth organizations are also complementing the organizing program. If you check this year's International Youth Day, it is not only the Ministry of Youth that organize events to commemorate the International Youth Day. So many youth bodies organize, our organizations, and so many. So, my dear sister, please, there are so many youth bodies coordinating the young people, and the mother ministry is the Ministry of Youth, and the Ministry of Youth is doing excellently well. So let us continue to support them.
Right? Comrade Obinna, please, with due respect, sir. Sir, please, to the best of my knowledge, that South African initiative, I don't think we've implemented that. So, but thank God you have spoken and you have, you know your way to the minister. We still have, so please just write to the minister, strong letters that, sir, this is our initiative. We contributed to this initiative, and when it's about to be implemented, it's necessary you carry us along. Thank you very much.
Another second, if you don't mind. Please, yeah? There are two things that I want to speak about now from to the ministry and to young people that are here. It is clear from our dialogue here that there is serious, limited awareness in how young people are engaged. So I think it is a charge to the ministry now. Maybe you should take this up, that we need to do more in awareness creation of the programs that we do that benefits young people. And for young people that are here, and even that are those that are listening, of the ministry or the government to do things for you, you also have to take responsibility and accountability for some other things, right? For example, you have to take accountability or responsible for seeking the information that will help you. Remember, nobody is going to give you what you need to become what you want to become, right? Yeah, there are support systems or mechanisms, but you have to look for those support systems and mechanisms as well. So it is a collective responsibility. We all have to play our part. So I think it's important now that it's even a good thing that the ministry has shared the information that there are many programs that we don't know about. So now going forward, we need to keep on searching for these informations and also share the fact that, yeah, the government is doing something, the ministry is doing something in regards to, and if there are things that you need to call to question, don't feel afraid. We are living in a democracy. Please feel free to just call them to question, but in a very diplomatic way, that if there are things that you need to be changed, please, or there are things that do not reflect your interest or your challenges, just make suggestions or recommendations so that together it's just a collective responsibility of building a nation.
So just because we promised the people online that we'll be actively engaged with them, also I'll just use 2 minutes to read some comments here. I think there was a time you asked if they were directly involved in some activities, right? So Catherine Joseph said, I am not directly involved with your organization, but I do that here in Ireland. So my answer was hi. Rita Abu said that as a member of a returnee association, we have engaged the youth in schools and communities, sensitizing them about the dangers of irregular migration. We also educate them on safe migration practices. Well done, Rita Abu, and your team. You are doing a great job. It's actually nice when you see some people who have gone through some certain situations and they take the stand to say that we'll make sure nobody goes through the same situation again. And that's what the Returnee Association is doing. Thank you, Chidi, and I see you here also. Thanks for joining this meeting today. Then Onye Anene said that my level of engagement is medium, although my organization is one of the thematic groups in migration governance. It is a regimented one, and there are limits to one's engagement, especially where the migrant is an adult who has made their choices and satisfied stipulated regulations to migration according to our rules of engagement. So I do my best within the regulations of my job and superior directives to engage everyone I meet across my line of duty and encourage all forms of migration in a regular manner. Thank you very much, Onyinye. So Catherine has a question for, I think, the Ministry of Youth. Please, this time 5 seconds, 5 seconds. She's asking, so you have 2 questions actually. Where are the youth development centers located in Nigeria? And what kind of skills are there for young people? How is the Nigerian government creating awareness for young Nigerians to engage with the centers, please? Then Ernest from Lagos said, what are your selection process for all these wonderful works your ministry is engaged into, of just family members and friends? Just curiosity would push us to know the selection process and how these individuals are participating. So the selection process, does it end in the hands of family members and friends? 1. Then two, where are these centers located? So of course, we'll have two questions, 15 seconds.
We have centers like, if you know Plateau State Jos, we have one at Sherry Hills. Sherry Hills is in Plateau State Jos. It's close to Center for Leadership and Training Center. Then we have another one in Odemu. Odemu is in Ogun State. We have in Owode Watu in Oshu State. So we have currently we are still building more. We are still building more. We plan to extend it, at least every state have a youth development center. Yes, then two, in terms of the programs we do, it's not for family members at all. It's not for family members at all. Sincerely, it's not. Yes, then it's good. I advise you. There's something I've not actually said. In the ministry we have a register. We have a data for youth organizations. Yes, then it's easier to deal with youth organizations. Kind of, you register with the ministry. Yes, then they have your profile, they have your documents. So in case we are doing this thing, they mobilize. Most of the mobilization comes from them. Like all this sensitization training, National Youth Council of Nigeria does the mobilization, and some other youth organization is easier to do with them. But just lastly, even just regular people can still walk in and they get your information. Then you go online, do it.
Did you said, say it how it's doing you? So Ernest, thanks for saying it how it's doing you. All right. So yes, every state needs few centers for skills training and employment. Hope you can put that in action. Thank you. All right. You said that's noted, Catherine. They're already on it. So Joy, you want to quickly conclude this so we can move to the next.
Okay, well, the next session will be bringing the youth involvement to migration. We have realized that the Ministry of Youths are doing a lot, but what is their involvement in migration as it is? Because you just mentioned it holistically. So this is a migration forum, so we want you to bridge that gap between what you are doing as the Ministry of Youths, contributing to development and migration. Not just the Ministry of Youth, though. This is, like I said, we'll be building options and just open the floor on that. But you can go ahead, sir.
Apart from the sensitization, yes, then like currently we can't work in isolation. Yes, then we still need migration is relatively new. It's not entirely new. So we still need to build our capacities and still get involved in managing migration. Like presently, we are part of the working group. Yes, and that labor migration. In labor migration, coordinated by Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. We are part of the technical working group there. Currently, we are actively involved in the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. We are actively involved. We are contributing our own quota to that development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the dialogue session proper, it has even started if you ask me, but we'll have some thematic areas that we need to discuss very well. So Joy, please, can you take your session now? Please, every facilitator for each session, you have just 5 minutes. I don't know how you do that. Try to bring out the initiatives, the responses from everybody here. 5 minutes because we will be closing because of our online participants. They have been here since morning. So 5 minutes. So we're doing this in 25 minutes. So Joy, over to you.
Thank you very much. We would have gone back to our mentee. So we would just have a formal discussion on it here without the mentee. So there are a lot of migration related policies. We even have the National Migration Policy. Are we familiar with that? Okay, just one person talking. How about the rest of us? Okay. So how about the migration-related policy? Youth is one of it. I think there's a part for migration in the youth policy. Yes, we have the labor policy also. So we want to know, aside policies, there are programs and initiatives. How aware are young persons, are the youth on these policies? Because I mean, you cannot trigger change or influence change without talking about policies. And so we want to know how aware the young persons, the youth are on these policies. And I think judging from the responses we've gotten so far, I mean, if we talk about the level of awareness is pretty low. Are we agreeing with that? Okay, so that answers that. Now, what can be done? Like I said, it's one thing to identify the challenge. Progressively, we have to know what we can do. So let's start making recommendations on our involvement in policies. Because I mean, like I said earlier, we cannot drive change. We cannot talk about migration and development without trying to influence policies. So what can be done? We are all young persons here. We are all youth, and we are also the persons that are not being carried along in this. So what can we do in that? Okay, thank you very much. Please go ahead, Mr. Samuel.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Samuel Sichuku, and it, since we've come to a consensus as to the fact that a lot is being done, and however, many youths do not know that a lot is being done. It's a matter of a knowledge gap now, and of course, when there's a gap from an engineering perspective, you have to bridge that gap, and one of the ways is to have strategic and systemic advocacy structures with focal points on sensitization. I remember growing up back in the days, and there's still the National Orientation Agency. Of course, when it comes to issues with MDAs, we talk about funding as a major factor, but if you could have a strategic involvement of the agents of socialization, and I think social media, it's a catalyst. If there can be a strategic involvement, we have a lot of youth organizations in Nigeria that can be involved in this process, and I think a lot of young people are doing a lot. So if the government can see how these youth organizations can be brought in strategically, and I'm not talking of cutting branches, I mean, from a systemic perspective, you have a lot of young people that go into schools to just do usual sensitization. Some of them use their own pockets and all. So if the ministry can have like or utilize its database to involve these organizations in the sensitization process, I think we can bridge that knowledge gap. Secondly, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they made it so easy that you could use sponsored ads targeted at specific populations. You could sponsor certain, we could call them jingles, we could call them, recently, I think, was it the EU? No, there was this commission that used Enyolua, Eni, the famous.
EU.
Yes. He's an ambassador. And you know, when you use such influencers, many young people, Olai Wasabi, who is one of my favorite, by the way, yeah, you could engage them in preparing some of these entertaining skits with certain thematic focus. I think that would bridge the knowledge gap. Since a lot is being done, and I can attest to the fact that a lot is actually being done, just engage these ones from a systemic perspective and the news will go around. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, any other recommendation? Before we take that, we are quick to say, okay, Ministry of Youth would do this, Ministry of Youth should do that, but we are also influence of change. And we should not leave everything for the ministry and the governments. We have a role to play, very critical role to play in our spaces. So I just want to put that out there. Let's hear from Ms. Chika. Okay. Okay.
Let me clarify. I think everyone that's sitting on this table is already doing a lot. But the reason why, more often than not, I'd like to point out where we have our roles and where they have their roles is that ministries have a national reach. And by virtue of being a ministry, they have certain infrastructure that an individual organization cannot have. A friend of mine, I don't know, Gender Mobile Women, we were at the ministry 2 weeks ago, and you could see how they tapped Gender Mobile Initiative. They just helped with the passing of the National Sexual Harassment Bill. So we had a training for the Ministry of Youth. I was there. I facilitated a session there. And you could see that by virtue of being a ministry, there are certain structures that, except if you have massive funding as an NGO, you cannot match the reach of. So I'm not abdicating our responsibility. I'm just saying we can tap into that.
Okay, Ms. Chika, you wanted to say something?
Okay, thank you very much. Just to add to what, let me not add, let me say something. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank the convener of this program, Mary. She's already doing something as regards this. So for me, I think in fact, I know she's going to do that, coming up with a comprehensive report, and giving to the relevant bodies so that they know the youths are really interested. Because sometimes they make us feel, if you talk with them, they make us feel, oh, we don't get to see them around. We don't even, so who do we get engaged with? So I think this is a step in the right direction, and I know it's going to grow bigger than this. if we can be getting something like if we can be having something like this at least twice in a year or annually for stats.
Outside the country.
Yeah, true. So it's something that it's possible also. Then I think there's also, not I think, there's a department in the Refugee Commission under my, is they're into migration. So if they can actually help us do a form of mentee mentor scheme, I know Mary is doing that already. That's also round of applause for her. So if the ministry, this refugees commission, yeah, can also get us involved, you know, with that, they can actually, with time, they can actually carry the youth along to say, okay, these are the ones that we've seen over time, and they've proven that they can carry on this tax after us. So I think that's also a way to help bring in the youth into the migration.
Okay, thank you very much. Because of our time, we'll just put a pin on that. But I mean, discussion continues. So, it is important that I'm very critical that we might have to model initiatives or steps that has gone along. She mentioned a few, and that actually is like she saw the next question, but I'm going to let that pass. About successful youth involvement in migrated related initiatives in Nigeria. She has mentioned one, the migration movement with me that is really doing really good. But do we have any other examples of successful youth involvement in migration related activities? Practical, really practical. Okay.
And I say it with extreme pride because I was a product. Yes, there's a. Yeah, I'm a lawyer, and I was the law clinic system. And for those who are familiar with law clinics, they are organizations within law faculties that engage in social development projects. So currently, the University of Abuja Law Clinic had one, was it last year, where the IOM was very involved. NAPTIP, we were talking about if you want to JAPA, you JAPA safely. And you have very young law students who are, very excited. I think they did one in Gogolada going around, and it's something that has been, as of last year, they focused on what's it called, mental health as a precursor that makes people feel there's no hope in the country and they have to leave. So they're trying to address root causes, and we had certain persons from these organizations come. Although we didn't invite the Ministry of Youth, so I think now that subsequently, but I think that's one, and the law clinic, even though I'm not as involved because of other initiatives now, but I think that's a very good one.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, the convener has something to say. Please go ahead.
All right, so I know one initiative. I don't know why she's not writing it. Chilean, if you're online, she's a returned migrant and she's a youth. And she came back and she said that no Nigerian youth will not go through the same thing I suffered. I will spread the news. So she set up the Female Returned Migrants Network. Yes, I think that's the name. So that's also a successful initiative. Thank you. Because of time, let's not go today. There's also another group for
Set
men
up your
also.
own.
So Brown is not here,
Yes.
but there is the Greater ASAN returnees. It's not a men's network of returnees anyway, but it's led by a man who also returned from Libya. Yes. Use that.
Okay.
Catherine, yeah. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you very much for this session. The take home will be that we need to amplify our voices in decision making. And we hope by next time we are meeting, we would have amplified voices for change. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll move over to focus 2. Justina, that's you. 5 minutes. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Please, thank you very much.
Or the second focus of our dialogue is for us to have discussion that will help us to understand the challenges that are faced by youth in migration governance in Nigeria. You know, the world, as we all know, like we've been saying since morning, is on the move. And Nigeria is no exception. Migration, whether we like it or not, affects us either directly or indirectly. And we all know that in the diaspora, we have a population of almost 17 million in Nigeria. That is according to a 2024 IOM data. And interestingly, it won't even surprise us to know that the major demography involved in this migration are the youth, which we already established this morning that they are between the ages of 13 to 35. Yet, despite these numbers, youth voices are often missing from Nigerian migration policy discourse. So it's against this backdrop that within the next 10 minutes, we will be exploring some of the reasons why there is disconnect, behind the involvement of youth in migration. Sometimes, as a few minutes ago, Mary presented a slide to us on Nigerian migration governance structure. We saw the 4 level of coordination. We saw the other thematic groups that are involved in that level of coordination. I don't know for you, I couldn't find the youth anywhere. So that brings me to the first question that we'll be having conversation on. What do you think are the biggest barriers that are preventing youth from participating in migration governance? We already have an insight on the Nigerian migration governance structure from the first level to the second level and what have you. We are the youth, we are the major demography that is migrating, especially when it comes to irregular and both even the regular migration. But when it comes to discourse at the table, we are not there. So let's discuss, what do you think are the major barriers that is holding us from being on that table where they are talking about you, who is the major person that is traveling abroad? So I don't know who is going to take the center stage to open this conversation. You can share from your own experience and observation. Why are we not on the table of discourse when it comes to issue of migration governance? Thank you.
Okay, there's somebody.
Please, our online participants, the floor is open. If you can hear me, use the chat box and drop your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I would say that, that has already been highlighted on the table. Them not being aware. For you to be on a table, you should know that a table exists. But most people are not even aware that there's a table like that. So yes, not being aware is one challenge. Thank you.
Not being aware that there is an existing migration governance structure.
So another thing I want to say, I think we don't show interest. Yeah, she just said we are not aware, and for some of us that are aware, we really don't show interest because we just feel, it's the same old people there, let them just do it, and that thought of they will not give you the chance or the opportunity. I think because it's been happening over time, so that thought is already stuck in our head. So we tend not to show interest, and somehow we don't get involved.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Grace, go on.
Okay, thank you very much. One thing I learned from the last workshop that I attended was migration has opportunities and challenges. I honestly think that many Nigerians that travel abroad for better opportunities or greener pastures has the intentions of acquiring the expertise and bringing them back to Nigeria to develop the country. But the problem is the economy is not encouraging. The policies and everything is not encouraging. So this kind of shift them from the focus of, okay, I want to contribute to the development of my hosts and the country I left. So I think that's one of the major problems. Our policies, our economy is very discouraging.
All right, thank you, Grace. Please, I want to reemphasize that question again. Now, we have a migration governance structure in place, and like Mary have expanded on, there are some levels of coordination. And we already established that the youth are the main people that travel. But in the discourse on the table, we are not there. So I want us to bring out our responses should be targeted on why in the level of coordination, where is the youth? What is there any thematic area that is being led by a youth? If not, why? What are those barriers? Why we are not sitting on that table? Why are we left out on that discourse? That is, thank you very
much. Hi, yeah. I hope you don't mind. I'll be reading from what I wrote down, so I don't.
It's fine. Go on.
So. All right. So I think we've identified majorly that there are two major challenges that prevents youth from being involved in these kind of discussions. And the first things first is we have to understand there's limited access to these policy discussions for youths, and there's insufficient funding for youth-led migration initiatives. Now, under those two, we can further look at systemic issues that have to do with the hierarchy in getting people involved. You see that in these structures or committees, if you walk up to one person on that committee, ask the person how old that person is. Do you understand? You don't have a youth leading any department that is involved with creating programs or initiatives that are targeted at youth. So it begs to question, when I hear all of these programs that are going on, my question is, how strong is the M&E? How are you monitoring what you're doing and evaluating that what you have implemented has impact on the targeted group? Because it's not enough to create awareness that you're doing programs. You need to evaluate the impact of what you're doing. If you, for instance, you have created a program and it's targeted at empowerment, you need to measure if that empowerment has actually empowered your target group. If not, you'll be putting resources into things that youth do not necessarily need, or it will not in the long run contribute to reduction of, irregular migration if we look at it. Then aside the age-based hierarchies, and of course, we know corrupt getting these committees, working groups structured together. I will say that because I have been privy to some meetings, and you'll be surprised when you hear or see a particular working group fighting amongst themselves. Now, that fight is not over a program or initiative targeted at youth empowerment. They're food. Do you understand? Like, the focus of their discussion is not around what they've been obligated to do as a group. So it's like, you keep asking yourselves, you make so many structures, by the end of the day, you are not seeing results because these people care more about what they are going to get from those meetings, not actually what is being discussed in those meetings. I can assure you that there would be like a national dialogue forum. There's a working group that is supposed to be discussing reintegration of youths, for instance, people that are like deported, or the work that is going on in diaspora. They don't get prepared for those discussions. They just come to those meetings and give you the same old story that they have been sharing since how many years ago. There's no new data for to use. There's no data to say, okay, so ministry has successfully provided support for so number of persons that came from this country. So you see, when youth-led movements are trying to like bring up a program or initiative, there's no data for them to use to work on to develop that program.
Thank you very much, Precious.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Sorry,
you
do
very
I go
much.
on?
No, thank you very much.
All right.
Our second question is also what? Time's sake.
Okay.
It's okay, we move to the second question so we can keep time. Conversation. Now, what do you think motivates or discourages young people from engaging in migration governance? I know most of our answers are interwoven, but we can tweak it a bit to say, what are those things that drives your interest in migration governance?
Okay, so as the advocate of the people online, just have two similar comments, and it has to do with resource gatekeeping. That's for the first question. Most information that can facilitate youth engagement they are all withheld from the youth. Not like youth are not showing interest, but they don't want to put us on this table to discuss and also come up with contributions. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So what are those factors? Go on, comfort.
I think Chief Obina had talked about a program they had started to implement on xenophobia, and how that program was skewed because they had nominated persons who were not part of the implementation or the execution to go for the program. So I think this is one of the main factors that discourages youth from participation. That presence of favoritism in governance, in our system. So you see people come up with great ideas and they say we want to do this, and once the thing hits the spotlight, you see either people from the different agencies of government come and steal this idea and it ends up dying. So it's not like the from what we have had a lot of what the youths are doing, but it's the fact that when it gets to the peak, when it gets to that point where okay, this thing starts to get gain momentum, so you see that they start to pull it apart and nothing is achieved. So that's one of the reasons for me. Yes.
Young children were locked up, right? And currently, we can see pictures of the children that have been empowered. Those children look nothing like the children that were actually in court.
Yeah.
So it's like a ministry has a wonderful idea. You will see the person that brought up that plan heavily saying this is what we want to do. But at the end of the day, when mobilization starts, the people that come as target group is different from the target group on paper. So it's like, how can the youth now battle the favoritism? They know it has to be my own person or from my own side to get us there to actually discuss that. Look, this is what we are facing in Europe. This is what we're facing here. How do we address this?
Thank you very much, Precious. Chief, please, 30 seconds. Please go on, Chief. Our time, please, Chief. No, Chief, please. No, Chief, please. Double Chief, please lend your voice. We need your voice, sir. Please, thank you.
So I have some these answers. One is accessibility. If you see most of this program we're talking about, like I and Miss May, we were privileged to attend one in a banquet or presidential villa. How many young people can access that? You will see a good program that is supposed to do maybe at Eagle Square, any place that young people can attend without any security, all those protocols and all those. They will take it to banquet hall. And if you're not a big man, you cannot be there. That is accessibility. Lack of what? Involvement. Lack of involvement I'm talking about. You will see a youth-orientated program, youth-orientated department, office or function. They will not give it to somebody who is not a youth or a young person. And when you give such position, a responsibility to someone who is not a youth, the person will do what? Bastardize that same program that is meant for young people. Now, timing and timing. Sometimes most of these programs are very, very important and good. But you will now understand that when they will fix the timing for such events, young people will not be able to do what to attend, or youth they will not be attend because of they have one or two engagements that they focusing on their own future or so. Selfishness and personalization of program. You talked about you supported me by talking about what the ministry did. Yes, it's good. It's true. Once you see some people, young people with good idea and initiative, when it's being born, approved, and there is something that's attached to it, you will now see the same people, they will just personalize it. Bring people that are inexperienced, that does not have passion. Even if I look at what is going on in our system today, some people that are abusing powers, not because of they are willing to serve, but because they have one or two people that are put them in the position of authority. And by so doing, poor implementation. All these programs are very laudable, but how good are they implementing them? Because one young people, youth, they are very conscious. Sometimes they get angry if they see that a program that is meant for them is not implemented very well. They lose interest automatically. Even people like me, I do as well. Lack of welfare. If you are coordinating youth-oriented program and you are not attaching welfare to it, you are just wasting your time, because you know that these people somehow they are not working, but they need that knowledge, they need that program. But it's provide welfare. You will allocate welfare for them. Behind, you will not go and take the welfare that is meant for young people. How do you now expect them to do what? To participate in the program that's supposed to shape their future? Thank you.
Very much, Chief. Thank you very much, Chief.
Madam, give us time, I beg.
Please,
Mary, please, next time maybe you have to put it maybe 4 or 5. because these are very important discussions that we're having.
All right, go on, sir.
Yeah. Pardon?
Go on, sir.
Yes, of course. So I think we need to understand one thing. These issues are structural issues, right? Good governance is a product of good policies, and good policies are a product of what? Good politics. If you don't get the politics right, you cannot get good policies, and you cannot get good governance without good policies, right? So I think these are structural issues. So what I would suggest is that we're talking about what the chief said, that political engagement and political participation of young people. Unfortunately, even if young people participate in politics, it is the one who have bigger money that ends up being there. And unfortunately, again, we have another problem in Nigeria, that young people are being given chances and then they're abusing the chances. For example, the case of the House of Rep member with the Bolt driver, for example. Look at the abuse, look at the bullying, look at the kind of, disgrace, the display of disgrace. And unfortunately, I was just watching a video yesterday. The Bolt driver is now apologizing to the House of Rep member.
I saw it.
That's quite unfortunate, right? That's quite unfortunate. I mean, it is a national and international disgrace for us all, right? So I think it's important that young people understand that they need to develop the courage and the confidence to challenge systems, right? The time of fear is no longer serving us. Will never serve us. So not to be violent, but at least as somebody who is relatively educated, you need to at least challenge the system in a way that makes them understand, hey, we need a departure from the existing norm. We need some things a little bit different. So I think we need to advocate for, change, politics. I think maybe the Minister of Youth and Chief, you are the ones who are close to the government, and maybe the parties in power. So I think there needs to be a structural change, and meaningful change, intentional and deliberate ones, to be honest, because I'm telling you, I promise you, if we don't do things right, in the next 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, the challenges we're going to be facing are far much more greater. Last point, I wrote an article in 2020, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. That's the name of the article, right? And I made a shocking prediction that time, that if policymakers and even young people did not become intentional and deliberate about doing things right, then the challenges we're going to face in the future are much more greater than the challenge we were facing then. Unfortunately, just a couple of months after writing that article, COVID-19 hit. Look at the challenges. Look at the challenge. Can you compare the challenge we're facing today as far back 2020? No. And so I'm saying, if we don't do things right, the challenges are going to be far greater than in magnitude.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Suleiman Madi. From our online presence, we have 2 persons. Their hands are up. Chilean, can you go on, please? 30 seconds. And next, you can follow suit immediately after Chilean. Go on, Chilean, if you can hear me.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go on, Chilean.
Okay. So I want to talk about government creating platforms to collaborate with youths, right? So sometimes we seem to forget that youths have a lot of ideas, right? What I've seen in the migration sector is youth giving these ideas to some of the government organizations, and they don't mention that this actually came from the youths, right? So if there is more collaboration, you find out that a lot of youths with their ideas would be interested in migration governance. So let there be partnerships and collaboration with young people, actually acknowledging that these ideas came from the youths. Because in other countries, you find out that when youths come up with ideas, their government support it. They give them the platform to actually express it and also support the initiatives. But right here, you have people just either ignoring it or taking the ideas from the youth and running with it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Chilean. NS, 30 seconds, please. NS, if
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Crystal.
All right. So I think I'll just intervene in just a few statements to what has been discussed so far. For me, the barriers for youth involvement in migration governance will continue to extend until some basic formalities are put in place. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if some of us have attended National Migration Dialogue. I don't know whether you have seen the drama that happens at that dialogue.
I was about
where
talking
you
about
see,
that.
Where you see a scenario that captains of industries, big men and women are gathered together to just entertain themselves, make fun. I don't know whether they know what the definition of dialogue is all about. National Migration Dialogue. It's supposed to be a forum for us to come together, discuss on the way forward, areas where we have failed, and provide solutions for the next future. But as far as I'm concerned, as it is, we are yet to get it right. Then another issue that I have that is a concern for me, that will continue to be a barrier to youth involvement in migration governance would be, I am not after a youth person leading any organization. I am not advocating for youth to be the leaders of migration organizations and the rest of them. All I am advocating for is that technical people should lead technical positions. People who are technically oriented, who have the knowledge and technical understanding of what the issues are, should lead. When you bring an economist to come and lead migration issues, he is going to be discussing economic issues. Then they will rely on the bureaucracy of the civil servants that were there before they were appointed. But when it is time for these people to exit, they continue to extend their tenure. Where is the place of the youth in such an environment? Then again, the civil society organizations, as far as I'm concerned, are confused. The civil society I used to know is no longer the civil society that I am seeing. I'm in this space. And what I am saying is baffling. Civil society have lost their place. They are confused as they are everywhere looking for projects, looking for how to make money, not to advocate for the interest of the people they so represent. I am yet to see an egg-headed youth who would bear the ultimate price for a righteous cause.
Thank you.
They appear even worse than the people they meet there. So what we should be advocating for is to have technical people to lead technical positions as far as migration governance is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, I want to appreciate you all for your inputs. Thank you. And some of the key takeaways for us, you have said it all: limited access to policy discussion. We have problems of systematic failure, favoritism, accessibility to youth program, and what have you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your engagement. Thank you. Okay, at this point, NSCRG, I'll invite you to carry on with your session. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege to be on this platform with wonderful youths and contemporaries. And I'm really very grateful to Mary for making this day a reality. Then very quickly to the dialogue focus, to identify the opportunities for youth in migration governance.
And sorry, just to let you know that you have 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
That's fine.
Go on. You have lost him. Is he talking?
For me, it is good that we identify some of the opportunities that are there in the migration space. But irrespective of the opportunities that we have identified so far, or that we are discussing, it is very good and pertinent for us to understand the fact that there are a lot of opportunities in this space. And one of the major opportunities that I have identified in this migration space for youth to be involved in governance is lending our voices to issues on the table. How do we lend our voices to issues on the table? That's exactly what Mary is doing at the moment. She's lending her voice, bringing people together to begin to develop a blueprint. I am very much aware that by the end of this conversation, we are going to have a document, and the document is going to be proliferated. But then very quickly, I would want to leave the floor very open for every one of us to contribute to the issue. One of our major focus will be how can existing migration programs or policies be leveraged to support youth engagement? So the floor is open. If we have anybody in the house to intervene on this question, please, you are welcome.
Okay, I think the question I'm seeing on the screen is different from what I've been. Okay, so the opportunities that are there are basically digital campaigns, social media campaigns, using Facebook, using TikTok, most of the platforms that youths use to run advocacy campaigns and awareness campaigns on migration, issues affecting female migrants, issues affecting male migrants. You can develop a campaign and run that as well on those platforms, and that way you are reaching out to more youths, getting them involved in these are the issues that currently plague us as people that are interested in moving out of the country or moving from one state to another state. In addition as well, it would be good if we can have a support service line in terms of like safe lines to call through, especially if a migrant is involved in a situation where there are no appropriate protections ensured for her or him. We should be able to make things easy. I mean, technology has made it so easy. I don't need to call a line and put on hold because I want to report that I've just been sexually harassed. We need to be able to have this efficient lines of communications. It can be toll free, where people can call in to safely report whatever issues that they are facing, both outside or within the country. I believe if we do that and we are keeping track of the support services that we're providing to people, we are getting more people involved in migration governance. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your intervention. We still need more persons to intervene on the floor or those of us participating online. More intervention, please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
All right. One way we could, or we can leverage existing migration programs and policies. I think the words of the one-time British Prime Minister Winston Churchill comes to mind when he was speaking with the then American President FDR. He said, "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." I think he was referring to the Second World War. There's no doubt that we have these youth platforms. There's no doubt that we have these policies, but those platforms have to be empowered, and that depends on how we define empowerment. Some of these platforms are handicapped, to use that word, in terms of certain finances, certain structural deficits, and one of the things that can be done is that besides the government, we have and international that have the requisite funding. Such organizations can partner or collaborate, depending again on what term we would like to call it. With platforms can this programs and policies can be leveraged. I'm one of those that are part of the school of thought that believes that policies, one of the issues we face is in the political will to implement those policies. So policies, I think we need to focus on how we can improve the implementation of the existing policy. A thing that can be done is to address the administrative bottleneck that are tasked with the responsibility of enforcing these policies have we say it with a negative connotation. Bureaucracy is more on efficiency, various administrative bottlenecks that hamper the success. I think that would be a very good step in the right direction.
All right. Enes, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, that's my contribution, please. I understand that currently the national migration policy is under review, and I don't know how well it covers emerging issues, especially as it relates to youth and migration. And like Samuel just emphasized, the problem is not about creating new policies. But I'll also request that if the review is still going on, this policy can be strengthened to include emerging issues that are surrounding youth and migration, especially with the advent of technology and social media in our present dispensation. Thank you.
Very much. Excellent. Thank you very much. For more intervention and for the want of time, we'll quickly move to the second phase or the second question on this dialogue focus. How can youth be involved in designing and implementing migration-related projects that impact them?
Okay.
You know, migration-related projects that impact youth are physical projects, tangible projects, life-changing projects, and very focus-oriented project or result-oriented project. So let's think again critically. How can we, as youths or youth bodies, be involved in designing and implementing migration-related projects that impact us? So the floor is still open.
Okay, very quickly, I would say there are a lot of, opportunities online. The problem is capacity building. Do we have the capacity to engage? And that is what will bring me to issue of training and enhancing capacity. If we can have programs that will be designed to enhance the capacity of youth in proposal writing, because there are a lot of things to do when it comes to proposal writing. It's not just about waiting for our government to tell you, okay, somewhere there's an opportunity, bring your proposal. But when you go to the global space, you see there are a lot of opportunities that we can leverage to design projects. So I will ask that capacity building, continuous capacity building and training, whether virtual and hybrid, can be leveraged on to, build the youth to be able to design programs that are related to migration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. More interventions, please.
I feel like I've been talking all day. Sorry. So I think if we have dedicated funding for youth-led migration projects, that will go a long way. If we also promote partnerships with young innovators and creatives, with CSOs, NGOs, and ministries, in a way that you are not dampening the effort or the idea the youth has brought in for that partnership. It has to be equal partnership. There's no need to fight, to struggle which person's face or logo should be in front of the IEC materials, for example. Yeah. And then I also believe like a quota system. If we actually implement a quota system where let's say for every technical working group on migration governance, there should be so percentage of youths in that meeting. If not, it cannot be taken that you are taking the perspective of young persons in developing whatever program or initiative you have. I believe if we do a quota system like that, like ensure that there's a percentage represented there, it would make more sense. I mean, we have laws protecting persons with disabilities, and it has even, they've advocated it to a point now that if you're having any conference or event and you don't have ASL interpreter, it's a problem. So if I feel like if we are really strong in our advocacy to ensure that, you know what, you cannot have a national dialogue and you have only 2 young persons there. It will not work. I think if we advocate more, should I call it aggressively now?
Yeah, you're right.
Aggressive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I said to make it more aggressive. If we're talking of youths, why should there be a quota for youths? There should be a quota for those who are not youths.
Yeah, exactly. We are the majority in the space.
Very well, very well. And just to Ernest, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Ernest said he doesn't really, he's not concerned about, and I'm not attacking your point. I'm just quoting what you said. You're not concerned about whether a youth heads a certain organization. And I very well understand the perspective you're coming from. It's efficiency or effectiveness we're looking for. But there's something about being a person within that space or within that demography. It enables you to see certain things from certain perspectives. So I would advocate for a more balanced view, in as much as we do not care as to whether it must be a youth. I think there's a benefit as to why youth should occupy those
Certain
positions.
positions,
Yes,
yeah.
that's just my 2 cents.
So
All right. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, go on.
All right. So there is no need again talking too much about the last point of this dialogue. Focus talking about the role that technology and social media play in fostering participation in migration governance. Like what we are doing now is live on YouTube, and the world is glued to it. Whether people see it now or they will see it later, it is live on YouTube. So technology and social media has a great role to play in helping to foster the participation of youth in governance. Put all of these perspectives together, I want us to quickly listen to some of the points that I have listed here for us to conclude this focus. One, somebody talked about advocacy. So there is need for us to advocate for the expansion of existing regular migration pathways that accommodate every individual, because it is the right of every humanity to go anywhere they want to go. So it is part of the migration governance issues. The need to introduce more and less stringent pathways to make every of the pathways very accommodating and easy. Number three, the views of the youth must be sought at all times. So when you're taking any decision that has to do with the youth or the youth involvement, there is every need for the youth to be part of the decision making from the very beginning to the last. Not when you have 20 older persons on the table and you have a youth or two youth, and the youth must be related to one big person in power, and they know nothing about the issues on the table. Then the youth must lead at the table where migration issues are discussed, issues that concerns them. Then we must leverage on migration resource centers to get better information that
Thank you very much,
us
Ernest.
or put us on better perspectives. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you, everyone on the floor and every of the participants online.
Thank you very much, Ernest, for leading and taking charge of this session. So move to the next one, which is focus 4, and to do that is Samuel. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And I would just step out a bit of protocol to ask that we put our hands together for ourselves and for the organizer of this wonderful, wonderful party. Thank you so much. I call her Osato when I hear anybody calling her Mary. So, well, it's a very, very wonderful initiative. So my own task is very simple. I think we've laid the groundwork already. And so I'll just reel out the first questions and take interventions from us. The question is, how can we ensure that youth perspectives are sustainably integrated into national migration policy? So the focus of that question is, how can we ensure that youth perspectives are sustainably integrated into national migration policy? So the floor, the table, they're all open now. So you can take interventions.
Can you hear me? Okay, I think I've actually made a point on this when it comes to national migration policy. This is a document that is always under review. I don't know if it's 4 years, every 4 years, or every 5 years. So to ensure sustainability of youth participation in issue of migration, I think for every of the review, we should always strengthen the policies to include emerging issues as it relates to youth by looking at best practices, and what is in every other part of the world. So for me, I think that is the only thing we can do to ensure sustainability in the policy.
That's a beautiful perspective. Do we have additional perspectives on this? How can we ensure a sustainable integration of youth perspectives?
Yeah, I think I'll come in now.
Very
So
well.
now the review is ongoing. How many youths are involved in this review of the national migration policy, which would exist here, and we'll use this document for the next 5 years? And even if youths are they really there as youth, or they're just there symbolically? Maybe because their bosses were invited to these meetings, their bosses could not attend. Okay, you just go for the organization and come and report. So, like what I've been hearing since is that nothing about us without us. If we are the highest persons to migrate, then let us be involved in this process. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, that's
So I
Winifred.
wanted to just add to what Mary said. It was what I was just about to say before she mentioned it. That this review is going on. I have no idea that a review is going on migration policy and all of that.
How many youths are involved? No, sorry, everything I have no idea because
Winifred,
what is going
we
on?
name you. I have
What
no
is
idea, but
going
that's on a
on?
lighter note. That's on a lighter note. Yeah,
No,
please.
she's
Does
right.
anyone
Yes,
know
go on.
that review is going on?
I think we
We
know
do.
because
I mean,
somehow we
but
are private. some
are
of
we
the
involved?
We'll get to it.
Is there anything backing us up? Okay, can we lend our voices and can we say, okay, this is what we want as part of this? Because it's going to extend for the next 4-5 years. This is what we want as part of this. So, I mean, it goes beyond talking because is there any dialogue between, has government officials sat down the way we are now? Have they done that? Let me use Obinazo so that they will not come and catch me. To sit down, big men and big women, to take pictures and do banquets. That's just where it ends. And it doesn't go beyond that. So we really need to be actively involved, and there should be a backing for us so that whatever we say stands. And interest on the part of those behind these policies should be increased. Aside active capacity building, advocacy, and all of that, do we have backings on this?
Oh, good. So we'll just take one more and move on to.
I think the Ministry of Youth should have answered this question because they are involved in the policy, they are involved in the review. So I don't know how well they've carried the youths along in that process.
Very
Go
well.
on, Precious.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say was, in integrating youth perspectives in these dialogues, I know a lot of persons who say it has to do with like mobilization of youths to be there when they are reviewing it, but it's actually not that hard. A lot of youths are using social media, for God's sake. This is not Mentimeter we use just now to answer questions. Set up polls online, asking questions, sourcing out for solutions that can be used during the review. You are including young persons into your decision making. Put it out there. We are reviewing so policy. These are the following areas. What do you suggest? You'll be surprised the number of persons that will be responding to those kind of polls. But you don't do that. You just sit closed doors and you say you are reviewing a policy. And then at the end of the day, we are forced to, to adhere to it, even when sometimes it's not practical enough for application.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well articulated.
That's what I just suggested.
Leveraging
social media,
to
digital
create
campaigns,
digital
to
campaigns
create
where youths
polls
can
to get
participate.
answers from young persons.
Yeah, I like that because just to say something as to whenever we mention we, I think that should have, if not for the time factor, I was trying to lay a foundation as to when we say we, how do we define we now? Because you could look at we from the perspective of the powers that be. We could also look at we from the perspective of we the people, we the youths, right? So I deliberately left it vague so that we can. We've hammered a lot on.
Show so much interest, and they were just sidelined. But because the bosses saw that showing interest,
No, that's on a lighter note. So good. So we'll take, for time's sake, let's take her and take you. Okay, I think just use.
Okay, I think we could cascade down to our tertiary institution. We have student governing bodies like SUJs and the likes. So people could should I say advocacy visits, or we could collaborate with these student governing bodies to intensify or carry out awareness on youth participation in policy formulation and implementation. So the youth should be targeted at our tertiary institutions. Thank you.
Grace, right? That's very beautiful. Comfort.
Okay, how to get the youths involved. Now, one of the things we can do is creation of forums, dialogue forums. Because, when we say she talked about just one person. So when we have forums, dialogue, organizations where, like an example is this. So where we have these things and youth comes together and they give their suggestions or input on these policies, we can have it, we can better channel it to the appropriate body. Especially, and also the youth, the Ministry of Youth can harness these forums to get the youths involved in policy making.
One last person, that's Justina.
Okay, let me wrap it up. Yes.
Okay, Joy, you want
Sorry,
to
Joy, please let me finish. Okay. 30 seconds, please.
Okay then.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you very
she
much,
just used her
Samuel.
veto power, so no problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Go
you
on.
very much, Samuel.
Yes.
Now, for me, for every policy, there's an SOP, right? Now, SOPs have robust monitoring framework with key indicators.
Yeah.
So, as youth, we can come together as youth, migration-led youth organization to form a consortium and probably annually track some of these indicators by knowing how far those ones that relates to youth, what is the impact of those policies, the one that concerns us, because if we leave it, it will be there till another 5 years.
That's true.
So we can come together as migration-led organization, form a consortium and track most of these framework, especially the ones that relate to us as youth. Thank you. Yes. No, I think an independent review. I'm not talking about from the thematic
More like
groups.
a
An independent
watchdog.
as a watchdog
Watchdog.
to know
A
that they are
watchdog,
tracking what they've said they want to.
A watchdog.
Yeah.
A watchdog.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad there.
No. Our problem is implementation.
She
it's
wants.
not creating.
We should form the one that will shake the table. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so
Press.
I think it flows from what
Thank you.
the last two speakers spoke
Yes.
about, because I mean we are not involved in the Nigerian migration governance and we want to be involved.
Yeah.
And then too many voices make noise, just noise. There's no particular point driven. And so I agree with them about us creating like a common space. For now, we want to be integrated. How do we go about that? Creating a common space where there are youth-led organizations on pushing migration and development. Together we have one voice pushing for this agenda, because we've made very beautiful points about being integrated into the national migration governance. But the only way we can go about that is if we have a common space pushing one agenda. Thank you.
Beautiful. And I hope in that common space we don't start to fight for who will be CEO and CFOs and all. But that said, the last question, which I think will just be a wrap up on what we've discussed, is what roles. Okay, you're saying okay, no problem. What roles can government and non-governmental organizations play in institutionalizing youth participation? So I think it's just to tie up the loop. Chika, do you have something to say? What roles? Yes, please. We need to. I think almost everyone has said something.
No, but I actually wanted to say something, but somebody said it. Okay.
Yeah, just say it in your dialect, if possible.
Okay. I just wanted to also to let Mary know that for this she's doing, it's a good one. So it's also a way to put out our opinions and suggestions out there for the government to know that, oh, we are serious and we really want to be part of it. And also to warn Ernest that if putting an economist in the migration space will not jeopardize it.
Are you an economist?
Policymakers, yes.
You're an economist, right?
If people like money too much, no.
Then I knew where that was coming from. That's interesting. So yes, I think this will be more suggestions, then we'll wrap this up. No problem. Yes, please. It's on. You can go on. Pick your voice.
So, what roles can government and non-government organizations play in institutions? Whatever.
In ensuring youth participation.
Opportunities where there are calls for proposals and for you to write proposals to get certain grants, right? It is not going to kill the CSO if you allow young persons just do it. You can always provide supervisory efforts in terms of like reviewing or editing the work the person has made, but let it be more youth centered or youth led. That way they kind of have this sense of ownership. It looks like this is something I worked on, and you see them doing fingers crossed or hoping that they get the grants because you've allowed them lead the process all the way. The only thing you are doing is just support. So really what we need is partnerships, partnering with youth-led movements. They don't have to be like a registered organization. There's so many youth-led movements that are advocating for different things. If you get them together in a way that, oh, so there's this call for so proposal, can we get 5 youth-led movements in the room while we're making the proposal? I think you are integrating youth perspectives in your work. And then there was this innovative thing that my organization did. We're planning a social norms conference, and we kept saying that young persons are not being a part of this decision-making process. We need to make it more open. And what we did was, okay, how can we get young persons to be talking about the norms that affect everybody? We put out a hackathon challenge. And the hackathon challenge was calling on young persons, creatives, and professionals to design ideas, campaign, and make artwork talking about the issue. And when we did it, we had 40 submissions from all young persons. So what that means is that people are actually interested. Someone said, you as a young person, you need to move to find information. The information are there and we are always looking for it, but it is not there. Even the websites they mentioned, go to the website. I can promise you, if you open the website, the link will not open. So what are we saying? Yeah. We just need to go back, take a step back and think of the end to end in all our programming. Yeah. And you will see that there's something you missed out.
All right. Thank you, Precious. I hope you're no more offended, right? So,
Okay.
Winifred, I have to wrap this up right now. What would this? Maybe we'll roll over to the AOB, right? I will just end by stating, they quoted JFK a lot. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I think that quote was made by a politician because it's very okay for citizens to ask what their country can do for them. However, in forums like this, it's more important that we ask what we can do. And I'm glad we had this conversation. So please let us go to our various organizations and do the needful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Somewhere, I'll end this meeting at 3:01, exactly 3:01. So 5 more minutes, please. Yes, online participants, thank you. We're ending soon. So I'm taking this last session and we've had, yes, thank you. So we've come up with roadmap already. If you ask me, during our conversations, we came up with strategies. But now, after today, what next? Everybody, after today, what next? So what happens after today? What steps can we take immediately to increase our participation? We've said that already. I don't know why this keep entering my head.
Immediately. One, we should immediately demand. We should demand, of course, first and foremost, quotas. Because I feel that's the first step in the right direction. And it should not be in terms of just mere statements or platitudes or Pollyanna. It should be enshrined in policy documents. It should be enshrined in the law. When we have that, no one will have a statutory justification to exclude youths in terms of migration governance. The second thing that we can do to immediately increase youth participation is to encourage openness in selection processes. And that's because I wish a person from the youth ministry is here. They have very beautiful programs. However, when it comes to implementation, we also have what we call selective implementation, where it's only cronies and family members. They do this tokenism. You supported us during this, so have it. And at the end, we do not see results. So I think there should be an insistence in openness in form of information sharing as to how these processes and policies are implemented. So that's my own.
Thank you. So what should we aim for between now and the next 5 years?
Participation currently in decision making in Nigeria, so we can know if it's low, right? It's low. Do you like have a percentage or?
All right, so Grace, you have something to say?
Of attention to want to even know
The
what
Ministry of Youth should
level
have
of that.
they should have like a is it database of youth participation so we can track our success in the next 5 years. Okay, it's there already.
Okay, so we're giving that to the Ministry of Youth to do that for the third one, just so we can be sure. So Justina, please go ahead. Use the mic for online people, please.
Comment. I want to say the outcome of this forum should come out in form of policy brief to the right authority. That is the first immediate thing I think we need to do. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. Okay. So what benchmark can we establish to guide our participation in initiatives? Platform of policies. The last one, what are some goals and benchmarks we could establish to guide youth participation initiatives? Okay.
I was saying the impact of that initiative or program. Will the impact will be the benchmark in a way where you can also assess youth impact on migration policy and governance. So I feel like 3 and 4 are kind of intertwined because when you measure the work that has been done in terms of impact, it gives you data as well that you can use to assess the progress that we are making.
Make it more granular from my own perspective. Goals and benchmarks. Well, the number of youths that are actually involved would be a very good benchmark. So, if, for instance, you have a committee of 100, and initially you had just 5 youths, if in the next 1 to 5 years we see a progressive and increase, then for me that's a benchmark, and it's very measurable because you're seeing the.
So should we measure in terms of percentage, like 5% of the population?
Yeah, I think the percentage should. And considering the fact that we're over 70%, even though they're trying to exclude some of us from youth, so I'm still a youth, so that's it. So I think we should be very granular and put a certain percentage. We should give a percentage. However, in the absence of a database as to the current
baseline
level of participation, then whatever we do would just be aspirational, which we can do. But so. Yes.
It will start from 0 first, honestly speaking, because there's nothing. 50%. No, it's good to dream big, actually. What did they say? Aim for the moon. If you don't hit the moon, you could hit the stars.
Yeah, let's not hit this. It's the moon we're hitting now.
So
but I think we can put a benchmark.
Yeah.
We can put a benchmark.
At 30.
Okay, 30. Okay, since
we're just starting.
Yeah. No, but in our aggression, we should also let us start from. Let's be very practical. Yes. Good. 2015.
So in our policy briefs, what are we writing?
Let's
it's about 20%. Say hi. Just 20. So those.
I think we should do 30.
For starters, 30% say hi.
I think 30.
And so now we're talking in terms of actual implementation, yeah. That 30, okay.
To actually implement the 30.
Okay, 30% then.
You want 50?
All right.
So can I just quickly chip in something?
So as 303, promise me 30 seconds, so we can close.
As we're really pushing for the 30%, we need to reduce the number. Yeah, I hope it will reduce the number of the older people in participation, because it will keep pushing us away. We can't. We cannot. But let their number be really reduced. No, it should start from now. Yeah, it should start from now, because if not, we wouldn't be able to lend our voices. Trust me, if they are there.
Okay, thank you very much. Part of the roadmap said an immediate action, and I'm glad we have an initiative like this, and I want us to build on this. A lot has been said today, and we can build on that as even influencing the review of the policy, because I think it's in the final stage. So we can make use of what has been said, the outcome of today's meeting, to build from that. And I'm glad we have a space like this. So well done, Migration Moments with me. Thank you.
So thank you very much, everybody. So just the same way we started, I think it's actually good to end the same way. And just to let us know, please, there's lunch. Don't leave without taking your lunch. It's been paid for. Okay, so I don't need to remind us. All right, so very quickly. So before we go, please, those online, can you just, if you're in a safe space, Saturday, we'll know how we can be home with just buses and singlet and something. If you think you can turn on your camera so we can have a snapshot of those that stayed to this time, please. But they said they could not hear us at some point. I hope they can hear me now. Oh, okay. So those participating online, can you please turn on your camera so we can have a Snapchat of you? Snapchat came. Snapchat. Can have a picture of you. Yeah, we still have about cases of them online because we're closing. So, all right. So, Mr. TK, can you help us and bring this down so we can see people that their cameras are on already? They're up to about 10, but they just. Please leave your camera on. Ernest, if your camera can come on now. Chilean, you're still here with us. Thank you. Can we please see them on the screen, sir? Okay, thank you. So we'll pause eventually and we'll just do a video to say Youth Migration Forum 2024 and I say thank you and then we close. Remove. Oh, so I don't know if I can do that from my phone here since we're having difficulties getting it on the screen. Okay. All right, so we just, oh, okay, great. TJ, please help us. Thank you very much. Last man stand, they actually stayed from the beginning to this very moment. We're saying thank you. We're really impressed. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you, Chilean. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you, Onyinye. And me, that's me. Thank you, me. That's Charles now. Charles, thank you. Charles even have to come out so that Charles, that's sunlight. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you. Everybody saying thank you. Say thank you to Charles, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, others too. We're so grateful. All right, so just to express my profound gratitude for your time, energy, insight, giving me your weekend. It's not easy. My dear, I don't like to share my Saturdays, but you gave me your Saturday today. I'm very grateful. So I would say that this Youth Migration Forum has been a melting pot of ideas, collaboration, and innovation, all aimed at amplifying youth voices in migration governance. Today, we have not only discussed the challenges, but also explored the countless opportunities that lie ahead. Each session has deepened our collective commitment. So I'm trying to pass my phone so that she'll help me with a video. Justina, thank you. Has deepened our collective commitment to building a more inclusive and resilient future. Let us remember that youth are not just beneficiaries of migration policies. We are co-creators of solutions. Each of us here has a role to play, whether it is through advocacy, capacity building, or direct community engagement. Your voices, perspectives, and leadership are essential in shaping policies that are fair, effective, and compassionate. As we move forward, I urge all of us to remain engaged, and I'm promising that we'll make this report available before the National Migration Dialogue so we can send it to the appropriate MDAs. So remain engaged, we'll collaborate with each other, and continue the momentum we have built today. Let's keep the spirit of dialogue and action alive. Youth are known to be very, very vibrant people, not just within this forum, but in every space we occupy. Thank you so much once again to everyone who contributed. Everyone here actually did contribute, and those online also, for making this event a success. Together, we are paving the way for a future where youth are not just participants, but leaders in migration governance. Thank you very much. So finally, the last video before we go for lunch. The lunch is packed, so you don't have to stay here longer. Thank you very much. Everybody say Youth Migration Forum 2024. Want to go? Youth Migration Forum 2024. So let me have them bring the lunch here so I can just get to take the restaurant. Okay.
So you're taking notes. Yeah.